The Georgia Southern Eagles are home in Statesboro, playing at Paulson Stadium for the first time in nearly a month. It's homecoming day as the Eagles fans welcome in the Aggies of New Mexico State. And this evening, Georgia Southern debuts their new white helmets. Sunbelt football starts now on ESPN. Welcome to Paulson Stadium in Statesboro, Georgia. Sunbelt football on ESPN, where tonight the Georgia Southern Eagles put their 10-game conference winning streak on the line, playing host to the New Mexico State Aggies. As we take a look at the conference standings, you'll see that Georgia Southern tied for first place with Arkansas State, that 10-game conference winning streak dating back to last year when they won the conference championship 8-0. New Mexico State, on the other hand, mired in the longest losing streak in the nation. The Aggies have lost 15 in a row. And good evening, I'm Matt Stewart, joined by former University of Virginia, Wake Forest, and New York Jets head coach Al Groh. And Al, we have two long streaks on opposite ends of the spectrum. But before Georgia Southern fans start looking ahead to that big Thursday night showdown at App State, they have to remember the Aggies have played the Eagles as well as anybody in this conference.
Well, they did last year. The Eagles haven't played for 2 weeks. They're ready to go. They're anxious. They've got a lot of energy. You can tell they're prepared. Doug Martin thinks his team is closing down the margin in talent. We'll find out tonight.
Georgia Southern had to fight hard to beat New Mexico State 36-28 last season. Now, the big story for both these teams, their star running backs. Let's start with the Eagles and their star running back, Matt Breida, who leads the nation in yards per carry.
Well, he is a star in every respect. 9 yards per carry over his career. Hey, that's almost a first down every time they give it to him. He runs away from him, he runs over him, and he does it a lot.
Averaging 148 yards per game and 10 touchdowns scored. That leads the Sun Belt Conference. He also has 2 touchdown runs of 80-plus yards this season. Now, right behind him in the conference stats is New Mexico State star running back Larry Rose.
What's even more impressive about Larry Rose, Matt, is the fact that he's doing it with his team playing from behind a great deal of the time. He's a multi-purpose back. He's an excellent receiver as well from the line of scrimmage, and they'll need a lot of production from him tonight.
Rose averaging 121 yards per game, which is number 2 in the Sun Belt, and 7.6 yards per carry, which is also number 2 in the Sun Belt. Both of them right behind Breida. Another big story for the Aggies tonight. Looks like Andrew Allen, the sophomore, will make his second career start in place of the injured Tyler Rogers. Meantime, for Georgia Southern, Kevin Ellison just 10 yards shy of 2,000 yards passing for his career. Of course, he's already rushed for over 2,000 yards as well. It's the Eagles and the Aggies. Opening kick is coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the field for the Corning Toss.
Back at Paulson Stadium in Statesboro, the Georgia Southern Eagles won the toss, but they have deferred till the second half, so we'll see the Aggies first on offense as they try to snap out of their 15-game losing streak, 0-5 on the season, 0-1 in the Sun Belt, and Georgia Southern leads the series 1-0 with that 36-28 victory last season in Las Cruces. Georgia Southern, on the other hand, 4-1. They are 2-0 in the Sun Belt. This is their first home game since they beat the Citadel on this field back in mid-September. They're coming off a 51-31 win 2 Saturdays ago at ULM, but they have been off since then. Led by head coach Willie Fritz, and there's Doug Martin over on the opposite sideline. Also the offensive coordinator for the Aggies. In his third season as the Aggies head coach, he is 4-25, and that's a big challenge for him, Al, is the fact that not only is he the head coach, but he's also the play caller.
Yes, it is. I've experienced that circumstance, Matt, and it just causes you to have to sprint yourself through all parts of the football team. You have to prepare to call the game. By the same token, you don't want to get isolated on just one side of the ball. You want to be the head coach for everybody.
And there's Willie Fritz in his second season as the Eagles head coach, 13-4 his record, the Sun Belt Coach of the Year a year ago. And overall, 189 victories, 71 losses, and 1 tie in his 23 seasons as a head coach. And as a head coach at a 4-year institution, 150 career NCAA wins. He is tied with Arizona's Rich Rodriguez for 13th on the active wins list for coaches, 2 ahead of Urban Meyer and 1 behind Tommy Tuberville. Younghoe Koo will kick off for the Eagles, and this will not be returned by the Aggies. So New Mexico State will start at their 25-yard line. And we'll see if it is indeed Andrew Allen coming out to start in place of the injured Tyler Rogers for this Aggies offense. And it is the 6'1", 205-pound sophomore out of Texas City, Texas High School. And, Coach, what is the big challenge for him tonight, getting his second career start, his first since last season against Idaho?
Well, with a running back like Larry Rose, he doesn't have to be the engine of the train. He just has to drive the train. That is, play a clean game, no mistakes, get him in the right play.
And the first play will go to Larry Rose, and Rose up to the 29-yard line. Antoine Williams making the stop, pick up a 4 on the play.
That's what the Aggies need in this game, is positive first down yardage. The best thing they can do for their young quarterback is put him in makeable third down situations. That's a good start.
So 2nd down and 6 for the Aggies from the 29-yard line. Allen will throw, and it is incomplete at the 26-yard line. Broken up by Darius Jones, the nickelback. And, Coach, let's take a look at the impact players when the Aggies have the ball.
Well, Teldrick Morgan is a dynamic up-the-field receiver, and they're going to need some deep throws and completions to lighten the box up and take some of the defenders away from Larry Rose. Antoine Williams is prototypical NFL linebacker size and the leading tackler for the Georgia Southern Eagles.
Williams came into the ball game with 40 stops on the season. Rose gets the handoff, and he'll pick up the first down and more. Off to the races. Larry Rose finally brought down at the 46-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle by Darius White.
Smart play by Coach Doug Martin. Throughout the game, that's going to be the case, Matt, and that is instead of plays, think players first. And his best player is Larry Rose. Make sure he gets the ball, make him a workhorse tonight 30, 35 times.
Coach, that was a great cutback and burst of speed by Rose. They'll throw it out to Rose here on the near side, and he drops the ball incomplete.
That's one of many what are referred to, Matt, as block catch plays. That is, the receivers know that the ball is going to Rose. They're blocking before the ball is thrown. Because it's college football and the ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage, they're allowed to do that. They've been doing that frequently. Georgia Southern, well scouted all over it.
2nd down and 10 from the 46-yard line for the Aggies. Allen will go to the air and looking for Morgan. Looked like there was some contact with Matt Dobson, the safety, but no flag. And it's going to be 3rd down and long, so they try to get it to Morgan, one of our impact players, right off the bat.
Well, there certainly was some contact, Matt. He does bump him. Okay, it's a borderline call right there. Obviously, they just decided to call it incidental contact. That brings up one of these 3rd and long situations. The key thing here for the Aggies, Matt, is they've already got good field position. Okay, with the ball here inside the 50-yard line. Just be smart with it. They've gone to empty. This means quarterback run or short block catch play.
3rd down and 10. Allen scrambles to his left, and he's going to be dropped at the 49-yard line by Antoine Williams again. So Williams making his presence felt here on the Aggies' first possession, forces them into a punt.
Antoine is already vitally involved in the game. He'll show up in every phase of it. Okay, there was tight coverage against the empty set right there, but Allen has got to pull the string on that, pull the trigger on that pass, and throw it to a guy who's got a little opening. His jitters probably showed up on that play.
Anthony Torres stands at the 34-yard line to punt, and Derek Keaton, who was all-conference kick returner, stands deep for the Eagles. A line drive kick that hits in front of him, and it will be downed inside the 20-yard line, and that's where the Eagles will go on offense for the first time today.
To slow down this Georgia Southern scoring machine, Matt, the Aggies are going to have advantageous field position for their defense throughout. And that's what they've got here, creating an 84-yard long field.
So 2 minutes into the game, Georgia Southern will have their hands on the ball for the first time when we get back. 2 minutes in, Georgia Southern goes on offense now for the first time. Kevin Ellison, the junior quarterback, just 10 passing yards shy, becoming the 6th 2000 player in Georgia Southern history. That's 2,000 yards passing and 2,000 yards rushing.
Number 4 is Kevin Ellison.
Handoff goes to Breida, and Breida up across the 20-yard line to the 21. And, Coach, let's take a look at the impact players now that the Eagles have their hands on the ball.
Well, Kevin Ellison has got to step up with his passing game. They're going to have to throw and complete some deep balls, Matt, or else they're going to find 10 guys in the box against this dynamic running game. And Derek Ibigwe is going to have to be one of the guys that comes up with 10, 12 tackles for the Aggies.
The sophomore linebacker averages 8.4 tackles per game, which is tied for 4th in the conference. They run option, and Ellison up across the 25-yard line to the 26. Bradley making the stop for the Aggies, and it's going to be 3rd down and short for the Eagles.
Matt, it looked like an option, okay, and in concept it was, but they have pitched the ball so infrequently this year that it's as much a quarterback sweep as it is an option play. And they put a lead blocker out in front of Ellison most of the time to ensure that he gets to keep the ball.
And he did pick up the first down at the 27 as they spotted it a yard further, so 1st and 10 now for the Eagles. Handoff Breida, and Breida moves the pile as Rodney Butler grabbed him, but he was still able to move. It shows you some of the power there. Now, one of the great assets of Matt Breida is his patience and his quickness through the hole, but he's also got some power between the tackles.
He's got a very versatile and all-around game. He does everything well.
So it looks like Stody Bradley's helmet came off, so the defensive end has to come off the field, and Noah Brown will check in for him over on the right side of that defensive line. 2nd down and 6. Ellison pitches to Breida. Breida trying to get around the edge, and does, and it's a 1st down for Breida up across the 40 and close to the 44. Jaden Wright, the strong safety, making the stop, and another good strong run by Matt Breida.
Here's the counter option play in which they pull the backside guard around to the point of attack to secure the pitch. They get the ball to Breida. That's their intention when Breida's the pitch man, is to get him out in space. Essentially, that's one of those block catch plays.
Breida 743 yards rushing in the first 5 games as L.A. Ramsby checks into the ball game as Breida takes a rest. Ramsby stays in for pass pro. They go deep for Keaton, and it's going to be broken up at the 25-yard line. Winston Rose, the 5th-year senior cornerback, back on the coverage as they tried to strike deep.
That was real tight coverage by Rose. It's a nice job by him against these very heavily run-oriented offenses. The temptation, Matt, for the defensive backs is to get their eyes in the backfield and see what's going on. But in man-for-man coverage, he kept his eyes on his receiver, and he showed up exactly where he was supposed to.
Brings up a 2nd down and 10 as the Eagles break the huddle, wearing their white helmets for the first time ever in program history, sporting those white helmets here on homecoming day. Pitch goes to Ramsby, and Ramsby gets stopped at the 45, right with his 3rd tackle here on this opening possession. Ramsby had a huge game against the Aggies a year ago, career-high 136 yards rushing and a 7-yard touchdown in the win.
Eagles came back to the same counter option play, and Wright is a very aggressive player, almost like a mini linebacker playing safety for the Eagles.
Wright had 42 tackles coming into the game, 8.4 tackles per game, which was tied with his teammate Ibekwe for number 4 in the conference standings. Conference stats, I should say. Ramsby makes the catch, and Ramsby up to the 50-yard line, and he picks up about 6 on the play, and once again another Aggie ends up losing his lid.
And there was Wright once again. He's all over the place here early in the game. Matt, that was the same. I'll probably, by the nature of these two teams, I'll be calling a lot of plays these block catch plays. That is, they're soft throws, easy to be completed behind the line of scrimmage. Let the runner catch it and take off up the field. This is a win for the Aggies defense. Okay, took a couple 1st downs to get off the field, but anytime you stop this Eagles offense, it's a win for the defense.
So 4th down and 3 just across the 50. Nowicki in there to punt. and boots it away. Going to hit at the 5 and kick sideways and roll into the end zone. So the touchback for Nowicki, that's his first of the season, averaging 44.5 yards per kick on just 4 punts. And the Aggies will bring it out to the 20-yard line. So 2 possessions, 1 for each team, and we are scoreless in Statesboro, Georgia. 5.5 minutes in here in Statesboro. Georgia Southern and New Mexico State are scoreless. And, Coach, interesting, we've had 5 pass attempts, 3 by New Mexico State, 2 by Georgia Southern, none of them across the line of scrimmage.
Both teams recognize at this stage of the season, Matt, they've got to get something going with their upfield passing game to lighten up the box so they can continue to run it. Okay, they're going to have to be successful at that, if not tonight, during the course of the season.
Keeper by Allen as he comes to the near side, and Allen has no running room, gets stopped at the 20-yard line. Matt Dobson made the tackle. Dobson, their all-conference free safety, came in with 30 tackles on the season and interception. Named second-team defensive back in this conference.
Matt Dobson makes a lot of tackles. He's the safety that if the Eagles have their choice, he's the safety they'll bring down to play close to the line of scrimmage to add another defender to the box. It looks like he's getting ready to come down now.
2nd down and 10. Allen back to pass and throws over the head of Morgan out at the 40-yard line, and now it's going to be 3rd down.
Yeah, 3rd down and 10, exactly where you don't want to put Allen in his first start for the Aggies.
Again, Allen getting the start because their junior quarterback, Tyler Rogers, out with a broken left thumb. In fact, underwent surgery on that broken thumb this week. It's his non-throwing hand, but they are not sure whether he's going to be able to come back this season. Rose makes a couple men miss and then outruns Antoine Williams to get to the corner, but not enough to pick up the first down as Darius White makes the stop. But Rose is an impressive back.
Matt, some people would say that this was an ultra-conservative call. Okay, but it's a smart call by Doug Martin, given the circumstances that his team is in. He's trying to manage the game, and the main way to do that is to manage his quarterback and keep him out of dangerous situations, that is, obvious pass circumstances.
That was Darius Jones instead of Darius White who made that tackle. 4th down punting situation for Torres for a 2nd time. Torres, and the kick is blocked. Spins forward to the 40-yard line where it is plucked out of the air on the bounce and returned by the Eagles as Vegas Harley got it on the bounce and was able to return it 5 yards, and so the Eagles get it at the 35-yard line.
Matt, this is one of these rugby punts, which I'm not a fan of, but there's 2 problems here for the Aggies. One, he's a right-footed kicker, so the Eagles know that he's going to his right. 2, he's going into the short side of the field, so there's not much room to elude the defenders. Really a tactical error by the Aggies right there that puts the Eagles in excellent scoring position in that they're already in 4-down territory.
And you could see on the replay that Georgia Southern didn't block the kick. He actually kicked it into the backside of his lineman, Alex Trujillo. Ellison pitches to Breida. Breida makes a cut. Stumbles across the 20-yard line.
He is tripped up by number 4, Winston Rose.
When he gets out in the open field like this with the burst that Matt Breida has, he can inject himself right through defenders, okay? And had he not been tripped up, that was going to be a quick score.
16-yard run for Breida. 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. Breida, number 3 in the nation, averaging 148.6 yards per game. Wesley Fields, the freshman, stops and goes and scores.
Boy, do they have a wealth of running backs, huh, Matt? Breida comes out for a little rest. Doesn't make any running the option out to their left, but it actually is a counter sweep with a pulling guard in front of the runner to clear the way. There's a very creative design, and it results in 7 points.
Impressive run by the freshman, Wesley Fields. Alex Hanks, 22 of 23 on his PATs this season, and he knuckles it through. And with 7:23 to play here in the first quarter, Georgia Southern takes advantage of the botched punt and quickly turns it into 7 points on the touchdown run by the freshman Wesley Fields, his 5th touchdown of the season. $7:23 to play in the opening quarter. Georgia Southern with a 7-0 lead on the 19-yard touchdown run by Wesley Fields. And, Coach, this is what teams on a 15-game losing streak do. They punt the ball into the back of their linemen and set up a great scoring situation for Georgia Southern. And teams with a 10-game conference winning streak, what they do is they go 2 plays and score real quick.
You're right, Matt. This is the cliff notes of how to put streaks together. Big special teams error by a team that's lost 15 in a row. As you said, that's how you lose a lot. And for the Eagles, when the door was open, they slammed it wide open, and they're in the end zone within 2 plays, took advantage of the opportunity. That's what teams that win a lot do.
Eagles have won 4 straight since their 44-0 season opening loss at West Virginia. They have outscored their opponents by an average of 26 points, winning by 26 points per game during that 4-game winning streak. Oh, what a hit! Royce Caldwell brought it back and got rocked
on the return
by James Dean.
Number 33, James Dean for the Eagles.
Well, James Dean is one of the 2 tight ends that the Eagles use a lot and a key special teams player. You can see him use his shoulder right here on the tackle, Matt. We'll talk about this as the game goes on, but the Eagles are strong practitioners of the Seattle Seahawks shoulder tackling concept, okay, which is really being interjected into college football and football at all levels.
1st and 10. Allen goes to the air and completes it to Morgan. First catch of the ball game and first completion of the ball game for Allen. Hicklin makes the tackle.
Good drive starter play, a double slant from the wide side of the field. The receiver got inside the defender, had good leverage on him, and Allen put the ball down in there, which was easy to catch, but also safeguarded him from the linebacker coming from the inside out.
And unfortunately for the Aggies, Morgan, their all-conference wide receiver, 2nd-team wide receiver, has to limp off the field. Rose looks like he tripped on the play as he was about to make a cut, and he's short of the first down, brings up a 3rd down and about a yard and a half or 2 coming up for the Aggies.
After having just been scored on, this is a critical 3rd down. Give their defense the opportunity to stay on the sideline and make some adjustments. This is an important 2 yards. 3 wide receivers way out here to the wide side of the field.
Up top they go on the far sideline. No chance of completion right there. And it's going to be 4th down. So on a 3rd down and short with Larry Rose in your backfield, they try to go down the sideline, Coach.
Yeah, Matt, I said earlier, they're going to have to hit some deep balls to loosen up the secondary. That wasn't the time to try to do it. Okay, the thing to do right there was to make a 1st down. You're talking about field position, give your defense a rest, minimize the amount of time of possession that the Eagles had. Not a call that I liked right there.
Torres on the punt for a 3rd time, and again a very bad line drive rugby style kick. Now I say it's bad, it looked bad, but actually it's effective because it rolls dead at the 38-yard line and keeps you from surrendering a return.
Matt,
so in that regard it was effective.
That kick was as low as the one that he hit the lineman in the back with. The ball just had eyes on it and happened to find a way to get down the field. It's about time to scrap that rugby kick.
Well, both of their kickers, Torres and Hutchins, that they have used this year are freshman walk-ons. And that's one of the positions as they try to rebuild their scholarships. They started out at 62 when Doug Martin took the job. They're up to 80, but as they rebuild their scholarship base, that's a position they have not yet been able to scholarship.
He can be a walk-on kicker. Let's just drop the rugby part of being the punter.
So Fabian Upshaw now in there at quarterback. They go to Upshaw here on the 3rd series. Not unusual, and that pass is complete out on the edge to Keegan Williams.
Fabian Upshaw has played quite a bit. He is a fast player, so he'll be able to run the ball as effectively as Ellison. but he's a little bit more accurate passer, and that showed on that play right there. That's a good drive starter, and that'll loosen him up a little bit out on the corner.
Upshaw, the fourth-year junior, started his career at Florida International, started their first 2 games this season as Kevin Ellison was suspended for academic reasons. Second down and short. Nothing doing for Breida as he gets stonewalled at the line of scrimmage, but maybe enough for the first down.
That was an opportune call by the Aggies defensive staff. They brought a corner blitz from the short side of the field with slants in front of it, jammed up the rushing lanes, but still a first down for the Georgia Southern Eagles. A lot of substitutions, different backs coming on. They're now in a 2-back formation. Matt, watch the huddle here. This is what is referred to as a sugar huddle, and we'll get into more detail about it as we go on.
1st and 10. Upshaw, play action, going deep to Breida, and Breida looked like he had a shot at it, but was unable to get the hand up to bring it in.
Nicely covered. Wright snuck up a little bit on the run, but had the presence of mind to turn around and run it down, and it just required a little more of a pinpoint pass, but that's what the Eagles are working on.
So 2nd down and 10 with the ball at the 49-yard line. Another one of the interesting things we need to look at here is that this Aggies defense played against a similar offense a couple of weeks ago in New Mexico State, a game they lost. But Georgia Southern had a chance to see how they defended the Lobos. Who has the advantage there, Coach?
Well, the Georgia Southern offense and the New Mexico Lobos offense are very similar. They're unique in their style of play. They're heavily run-oriented offenses with some complex schemes. The Aggies have a way to play that. Georgia Southern, with 2 weeks off, has seen it, but it should enable the Aggies to have better execution and most particularly more specific run fits than they did 2 weeks ago.
Eagles already have 67 yards rushing here in the first 11 minutes of the ball game. Upshaw pitches the ball to Ramsby. Ramsby down the sideline, got a block, and finally dropped at the 20-yard line.
Well, that was part of the scheme that they ran against New Mexico, and that was the same problem. Okay, against a 2 wide out formation, they had 9 defenders up close to the line of scrimmage. That part of it is fine, but you got to have some guys out on the edge, Matt, to set the edge and force the ball back inside. There was nobody within the concept of the defense assigned to do that.
And if Keegan Williams had been able to take care of his block on the cornerback Lewis Hill, Ramsby would have gotten into the end zone. As it is, it's a 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the Aggies' 20-yard line. Breida, there he goes, touchdown! 11th touchdown run of the season for Matt Breida, which is number 1 in the Sun Belt. And the Eagles have a 13-0 lead.
Well, Matt, we have been and we will continue to be extolling the skills of Matt Breida, but look at the opening right here that he has to run through. I mean, this looks like pregame warm-ups, so a lot of that credit has to go to this Eagles offensive line.
Hanks on for the PAT. And Georgia Southern has a 14-0 lead, 11 and a half minutes into this game in Statesboro. Georgia Southern continuing their dominance. Winners of 10 straight in the Sun Belt. They actually have a 12-game conference winning streak, Coach, dating back to their days in the SoCon. It's the 3rd longest regular season conference winning streak in the country, behind Ohio State and Florida State.
They're well stocked to keep on winning. Now, to a degree, Matt, we can trace that touchdown back to the 3rd down and 2 play in which Allen chose to go to the single receiver side on a go route as opposed to the 3 receiver side on a combination route designed to get the ball across the sticks. Had they made a first down, perhaps they would still have the ball. Okay, then on a poor punt, once again a special teams miscue. Too good a field position for a high-scoring offense like the Eagles to be able to have.
And Coach, here after the first 11 minutes, the Eagles averaging 8.7 yards per play. The Aggies only 3.2. 117 rushing yards for the Eagles to the Aggies 31.
Every one of those statistics tells its own story.
Koo, kick going to be taken by Caldwell at the 2-yard line, and Caldwell will not make it back to the 15-yard line. That was Wesley Fields on the special teams tackle, the running back who scored their first touchdown. And so the Aggies once again stuck with poor field position.
Yeah, special teams and the field position and the hidden yardage built into those special teams. Excellent kickoff coverage by the Eagles twice here now when the ball was not a touchback. Poor punts twice by the Aggies. Everything's going against the Aggies and everything's going for the Eagles.
Crowd getting into it here on homecoming night. Keeper by Allen. Allen able to run up to the 25-yard line and good enough for the first down as Darius Jones runs him out of bounds. But Allen making just his second career start, and this Aggies offense really hurting with the loss of their veteran Tyler Rogers, who had really cut down on turnovers this year. And the offense was actually playing very well until he got hurt.
Tyler was throwing the ball very well, getting it up the field, loosening up the defense, and taking advantage of his wide receiver playmakers.
Allen going deep. Little chance of completion right there. First time they've tried to get the ball to Teron Taylor.
Strategically, it's a wise thing for the Aggies to try to throw some deep balls and threaten the defense. Okay, by the same token, the quarterback has got to make the coach's decision correct and don't throw the ball to a guy who's double covered and has no chance to catch it. Yeah, that creates 2nd and 10. Once again, they're behind the 8 ball as far as the chains are concerned.
And no Teldrick Morgan on the field right now. Remember, he limped off after making a catch on the last possession, and we'll try to find out his status as we go throughout the evening. As Rose makes the catch, driven quickly out of bounds at the 28-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and long coming up.
Pass is complete to Rose.
Now that's the kind of pass that quarterback, young quarterback in his first start, early in the game yet, has got a chance to complete. Not much risk involved in that. Just keep throwing a bunch of those until the quarterback gets some confidence and gets a rhythm going.
You see Morgan with ice on his left knee. Not a good sign for a team that's already had some significant injuries on the offensive side of the ball. They'll dump it out here to Hall, and Hall's going to pick up the first down. Xavier Hall, the number 2 running back in the ball game for the first time, slips out there and gets the catch, and gets a first down.
Sure, there's one of those quick, soft throws. They're bringing perimeter pressure, a corner blitz off the short side. Good idea in that circumstance. The problem was nobody came out to cover the back. A mental error, missed assignment, creates a first down opportunity for the Aggies.
That's the second 3rd down they have converted in this game. Allen been given time here, lobs it up there, bad pass again. Allen just really has not had any kind of synchronicity with his pass receivers here so far in this quarter.
No rhythm whatsoever to their passing game. That was 4 verticals, try to push the secondary back. Well covered by the Georgia Southern Eagles. They were all over it. They're playing a quarters coverage, Matt, which means all 4 receivers are matched up man for man on the Eagles, but they do not have a speed advantage, so that matchup is negated.
2nd down and 10. Ball at the 46 of the Aggies. Rose fights forward for about 3 yards up to the 49-yard line.
The Aggies are predominantly a zone running team, both inside and outside zones. There was the inside zone on that particular one. The Eagles brought Antwan Williams, the Mike linebacker, off the edge, okay, into the direction of the play. That's why it got all jammed up.
So 3rd down. Thrown to Rose underneath, and Rose is going to be able to get close to the first down, depending upon the spot.
Nice recognition and throw by Allen. He saw that it was going to be an overload blitz from his left. Okay, 7 guys in the blitz, only 4 in the coverage. The traffic created by the 2 wide receivers to that side made it difficult for the defenders to get outside. Another throw against the air. He can make those throws right now, and they got a little bit of a rhythm going.
Second time in a row they've converted on third down, gives them a new first down at the Eagles' 44. Hall gets the handoff. He makes a cut to make a man miss, and Hall down to about the 40-yard line, picked up 4 on the play. DeShonte Ironhead Gallen making the stop. First time we've called Gallen's name. Gallen with 39 tackles on the season. They really like this guy.
Hey, Matt, Ironhead is not a name that a football player comes by idly.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to prove your toughness and your contact level to be called Ironhead, and he really does that on a game-by-game, play-by-play basis.
Earned that nickname from his dad when he was a kid, just kept running into things. Earned the name Ironhead. Hall with the catch. Got a block out on the edge to get him some yards more. That was Bergstrom who threw the block and got him an extra 3 or 4 yards on the play.
Not a big gainer, but let's not see it that way, Matt. Let's see it as that's the 3rd straight completion for Allen. Best way to get a quarterback's confidence up is keep the ball from hitting the ground. Get him those kind of throws that he can make and complete.
Yeah, Allen is now 5 for 12 as the first quarter comes to a close. And as this first quarter comes to a close, the Aggies are starting to move the ball for the first time tonight. But the first quarter belongs to the Georgia Southern Eagles. Couple of touchdowns from their star running backs. Wesley Fields first, and then Matt Breida second. We head to the second. Eagles on top by 2 scores. Start of the second quarter, Georgia Southern on top 14-0. Matt stood along with Coach Al Groh, and even though the Eagles have a 14-0 lead, Coach, Andrew Allen starting to get a rhythm here, and the Aggies offense starting to gain some ground.
And they've done so primarily with short passes, easy to complete, either behind the line of scrimmage or just beyond the line of scrimmage. It's let him throw the ball with a little bit more confidence. They're not wasting any downs on long balls that have no chance.
Allen now 5 of 12, 36 yards. First play of the second quarter will be a handoff to Rose. As Rose gets down to the 36, Chris De La Rosa making the tackle for the Eagles.
This is clearly 4-down territory for the Aggies. Nice run by Rose, brought it right up near the sticks. Here's a critical 4th down play. Best way to get this yard, Matt, is to let Larry Rose get it for you.
They got to get 2. Got to get to the 34. They're on the 36. Rose, will not get there. Vicious hit. Big time stick by the Eagles at the line of scrimmage by Ryan George.
Yep, Ryan George and Darren Sapp were in there. Now these are 2 space eaters in the middle of the line. Okay, there was no offensive push. Conversely, it was all pushed by the defensive line, knocked the blockers back. Those guys stepped up. Those are the kind of plays you got to make to be a conference championship contender.
Ryan George with a huge stop as you take a look at the total yards of the first quarter of play. Eagles with 131. Aggies with 87. 1st and 10 now that the ball goes over on downs. That's Longoria in motion. And a keeper by Ellison, and Ellison gets up to the 41-yard line where he is ridden out of bounds by Derek Ibekwe.
Nice job by Ellison. There was penetration in the backfield. The scheme played on defense the way it was supposed to. The execution just wasn't there with a missed tackle in the backfield.
So 2nd down and 6 from the 41-yard line. Breida runs right into the middle of that defense. Ibekwe again on that tackle for the Aggies. Going to bring up 3rd down and about 5.5 or 6 again.
Well, Ibekwe makes a lot of tackles for the Aggies, and he got a lot of help on that particular play, Matt, from his buddies up front. Okay, Trujillo and Benegas, who had good push, held the point of attack.
3rd down and 5 for the Eagles.
So 3rd down and 5 with the ball at the 42 after a 1-yard pickup by Breida, who's got 59 yards rushing so far in this ball game. Ellison rolling to his right and throwing on the run and incomplete.
Boy, that was a nice play by Wright, the safety, okay, getting in front of the receiver to knock the ball down. The technique that he uses, Matt, is called upfield arm. That is, he goes up with the arm closest to the quarterback to avoid contacting the receiver and causing a penalty. Okay, well recognized by Wright and well executed technique-wise. Another good stop for the Aggie defense.
Gregory Hogan is deep receive for the Aggies.
Terrell Hanks is standing deep. Or that's Hogan, pardon me. Hogan deep for the Aggies. He'll let it go on by, which is going to cost him some yards. And so the Aggies once again with very poor field position as they will start at their 9-yard line. Opening 2.5 minutes of the second quarter, Georgia Southern with a 14-0 lead on the Aggies here in Statesboro. Been a beautiful day in Statesboro, Georgia, and a beautiful evening as we are just underway in the second quarter. Eagles on top of the Aggies 14-0 as New Mexico State starts 1st and 10 from their own 9-yard line.
Aggies have got 4 wide receivers in the game, Matt. Not your standard, okay, run-oriented offense.
Allen throws, and that is a completion. Royce Caldwell makes the catch. Antoine Williams making the tackle for the Eagles.
That was about the fastest that Allen has gotten the ball out of his hand. Okay, he pre-read the coverage. He knew what the pattern was, where the ball should go. That's the type of rhythm passing game that will serve him well if he can continue with it.
He's now 6 of 13 passing. They felt like they had some chances for some success in the passing game against the Eagles tonight. Handoff goes to Rose, and Rose moves the sticks, picks up the first down at the 22-yard line after Gallen makes the tackle.
Rose has a nice combination, Matt, of patience, which is what you have to have on zone runs, and then burst to get through the opening after it occurs. And he used both on that play.
See Gallen making the first hit, and then Antoine Williams cleaning it up. Rose picks up the first down. Rose has already rushed for more yards tonight than he did all of last season against the Eagles. 7 of 21 last year against the Eagles, now 7 for 44 tonight. Ball lobbed out of bounds as Allen saw that Caldwell was covered.
Yeah, well, the Eagles decided after that first down, enough is enough. So they decided to bring Antoine Williams on a blitz from the outside. He was one of the reasons that the pocket broke down, had to throw the ball away.
Second down and 10, ball at the 22-yard line. Allen 10 of 14 passing for 55 yards last week against Ole Miss in their 52-3 loss. Pass incomplete. Joshua Bowen, the intended target. 3
receivers all out here to the offensive right, out of the empty set. All ran slant routes. Okay, poorly thrown. We're up to 15, 16 passes for Allen. Matt, at this rate, it's going to be a 50-pass game for the Aggies. Not the best way to break in a rookie quarterback.
He's now 6 of 15 in this game.
Eagles are going to zone this one off.
Allen going to take a sack. Jamal Johnson with the quarterback sack back at the 17-yard line, and it's 4th down.
Jamal Johnson plays a great deal of time, most of the time on 3rd down, because he's got quickness to run the games and the stunts that the Eagles like to have. They ran a tackle twist in the middle of the formation to highlight his ability to run the edge, and it turned out well for the Eagles.
Jamal Johnson, first sack of the season, 11th sack of the season for the Eagles. They are 3rd in the conference. Again, the rugby-style kick, and Gallen nearly blocked it. Keaton picks it up at the 39-yard line and trying to circle back the other way. Now he's going to cut back this way. And Keaton up to the 41-yard line, does a lot of running, and finally brought down on the play by Will Clement.
That play kind of looked like an Xbox game right there. I thought that was Pac-Man returning that kick.
Eagles going back on offense 4 minutes into the second quarter, and Georgia Southern up 14-0. Homecoming night in Statesboro. Georgia Southern with a 14-0 lead on New Mexico State as the Eagles look to extend their conference winning streak to 11 games. They've never lost a conference game. 8-0 in the Sun Belt Conference last year, winning the championship, and off to a 2-0 start this year. And they're back on offense at the 41-yard line. Breida wiggles his way through the hole and then powers his way forward, and then a flag flies out at the end of the play.
Tackle made by Derek Ibekwe. There is a flag on the play.
Tremendous push by the Eagles offensive line. Looked like a snowplow going down the highway. Not that there's much snow around here, Matt.
But you're used to it in your home of Massachusetts, no doubt about it.
I see a lot of snowplows.
Not so much down here, Coach.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 60 on the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. The down counts.
Somewhere in the midst of that tremendous push by the offensive line, the center, there you see him, number 60, Andy Kwan. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You go until the whistle, don't you, Coach? We can't hear the whistle, so maybe he went after the whistle. I'm not sure.
Matt, they called it unsportsmanlike conduct, but really they put it in their roughing category. And Webster's dictionary says roughing is characterized by or done with violence or forcefulness. Neither one of those things applied right there.
So second down now and long for the Eagles after the penalty on Quan. Ellison runs for some more, and he might go. Can anybody catch Kevin Ellison as he sprints down the sideline, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown? How about that? 68-yard touchdown run by Kevin Ellison.
Beautiful team execution. A great run and decision by Kevin Ellison. The wide receivers to the side of the play did an excellent job of blocking the defenders over on that side, and the pulling guard in front gave him a clean escort all the way down the field. Nobody was going to get near Kevin Ellison. Everybody gets a plus on that play.
Kevin Ellison had a huge game against the Aggies a year ago, one of his best, rushing for 159 yards, including a game-clinching 32-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter. Well, today he sprints 68 yards, and Alex Hanks trying to make it a 3-touchdown lead, which he does, 21-0. Kevin Ellison officially 67 yards on that touchdown run. Gives him 77 yards for the day. And the all-conference quarterback has Georgia Southern out to a 21-0 lead here on homecoming night. Georgia Southern 21-0 lead on New Mexico State, and Coach Matt Breida is one of the best running backs in the country. But how about his effort at the end of Kevin Ellison's touchdown run?
Yeah, remember, Matt, he was like 10 yards behind Ellison, when Ellison decided not to pitch the ball, and yet here he is making the last block right here to eliminate the final tackler and get Kevin Ellison into the end zone. And what about Darian Freeman at 310 pounds, running almost step for step with Ellison down the field? That's his pulling guard to escort him. Those long runs don't happen just by one player. It takes the coordinated effort of a lot of guys, and that shows what a team attitude and unselfish guy is by Matt Breida, to be a blocker just like he is a runner.
And Breida not only just took out a tackler, he took out their team captain and a guy that had 119 tackles a year ago. So he took out their number one guy for the final 5 yards of Ellison's 67-yard touchdown run, and Georgia Southern now 21-0. How about scores around the conference? One out of conference today. Georgia State picks up their second win of the season, going on the road and winning at Ball State of the Mid-American Conference 31-19, and Idaho a 19-16 win over Troy.
Two good wins for teams that are looking to upgrade their programs and accumulate some wins.
Keeper by Allen, and Allen not going very far.
Designed quarterback draw. He didn't fool Antwan Williams at all on that. That's the type of instincts that allow Williams to be the leading tackler on this team.
Antwan Williams has had quite the game. 6 tackles already for Williams in this contest, and one of them for loss. He's a good-looking prospect at 6'3", 245, a fifth-year senior. Coach Willie Fritz thinks he's going to be an NFL draft pick. Going to get your opinion on that in just a moment as Allen throws it away and there's a flag down. You coach linebackers, head coach in the NFL with the Jets, coach linebackers 13 years in the NFL with Belichick and Parcells. What do you think about Antwan Williams?
Well, he's certainly got a prototypical NFL body, and he plays a 3-down game, Matt. He's in there on first and second down. He's in there in coverage. He's got the type of skills that will allow him to be a special teams player.
Defense.
And he'll get his chance.
Penalty in the previous spot.
Meantime, we had a personal foul called on defensive end Bernard Dawson, a hit to the face of Andrew Allen. So that's going to give the Aggies a first down. So the ball will be spotted at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Aggies as the penalty on Georgia Southern bells out New Mexico State as they were going to be facing a 3rd and long.
Willie Fritz thought that was really not necessary to be called.
Eagles just the second least penalized team in the Sun Belt, although they had 12 penalties called against them in their 51-31 win at ULM 2 weeks ago. Pass complete out on the edge. Very little going on right there. Morgan back out there. You saw him icing that. Actually, that was Rose, not Morgan. That was Rose on the catch.
That was really a nice job in the open field by Jay Hickland. Backup strong safety. Excellent open field tackling technique. Set the edge. Forced the runner to come back inside where he had help. That's how you play winning defense.
Yeah, I'm looking to see. I don't think that Morgan has come back out there. We'll see if we can't get an update on his status at halftime. Allen going over the top and incomplete. Hogan, the intended target.
Gregory Hogan.
There have been a number of deep balls thrown here with good intention by the Aggies. But Georgia Southern has been all over every one of them. There really hasn't been any opening to get anything in there. The receivers just do not have enough speed to get separation from these defenders to create a window for the quarterback to throw the ball.
3rd down and 10. Ball is at the 40-yard line. And Allen will not pick up the first down. Antwan Williams in on that stop again as Allen tried to run for the first. 4th down and about 2.5, 3 coming up.
Well, 3 key veteran senior defenders, Matt Dobson, Antwan Williams, and the aforementioned Ironhead, all diagnosed that play, and they're in on it. Okay, here at midfield, the Aggies are going for it on 4th down and 4.
Down 21-0. Doug Martin says, what the heck? We'll roll the dice. What would you do here, Coach?
Looks like we're going to get a blitz here with the Ironhead and Antwan Williams.
Here comes the blitz. Allen gets it out of there, and it's broken up by Dobson. They tried to squeeze it into a tight space to Royce Caldwell, and Dobson breaks up his 4th pass of the season, and the ball goes over on downs.
Smart play by Dobson. He knew the situation. 2 things involved in the situation. They only need 4 yards. It's going to be a short route, and with this blitz coming, there's Ironhead on the hit. He knew the ball had to come out of there in a hurry. He just sat on the route. That's what a senior veteran player knows how to do.
How about the savvy play by Dobson, too, to be able to reach in and bat that pass down without interfering with the wide receiver?
Yeah, really good technique on his part. Good series for Matt Dobson.
And so the Eagles go back on offense, and Upshaw now in there at quarterback again for the 2nd time he's been out there tonight. L.A. Ramsby on the carry as he picks up 7 on the play. Wanga makes the tackle for the Aggies.
Wanga makes the stop.
Wanga coming off a career-high 11 tackles in that 52-3 loss at Ole Miss last Saturday. Also recovered a fumbled punt. Aggies have done well outside of the SEC. They've been blitzed twice by Florida and Ole Miss, but their other 3 games they could have won, but didn't, as they come to the near side, and Wesley Fields, and Fields is close to the first down as he runs close to the 37.
And for all the option plays, Matt, that the Eagles run, that was just a good old-fashioned power sweep. Okay, straight handoff, stretch the defense, get pulling guards out in front, try to knock the defense back and beat the force. A lot of diversity in this Eagles offensive running game. Okay, they're dedicated to it. A lot of creativity, a lot of complexity in it, an awful lot of looks for a defense to get ready for.
There's that sugar huddle again. Break out of it on 3rd down and short. Ramsby, let's see if he got the first down.
L.A. Ramsby on the handoff.
Well, that's
Stephen Meredith made the tackle.
Probably the shortest run of the game, shortest gain so far for the Eagles, but they didn't need much. That might be enough.
And they're going to measure. And, Coach, how about this Aggie season? As I mentioned, they've been overwhelmed in their 2 games against SEC opponents, not to be unexpected. Lost badly to Florida, lost badly at Ole Miss. But in their other 3 games, they missed a 49-yard field goal with 29 seconds left. Could have beaten Georgia State, but didn't, lose 34-32. Had a 2-touchdown lead on UTEP with 4 minutes to play. Lost in overtime 50-47. And also had a 2-touchdown lead on their big rival New Mexico early in the 3rd quarter and did not win it.
Sure, Matt. The measure for the Eagles right now is really not beating Georgia Southern. It's beating the teams down a little closer to them. The teams that you just mentioned, Georgia State, Texas El Paso, their in-state rival, the New Mexico Lobos. Those are the teams they got to take aim at. They had a chance to beat all 4 of them in the 4th quarter, and they couldn't finish the game. Okay, that's the difference between winning 3 and losing 3. They've got to learn how to do that.
So 1st and 10, as you see, the Eagles did pick up the first down. And, of course, last year in Las Cruces, they jumped out to a 14-0 lead on Georgia Southern and could not hold on as the Eagles won at 36-28. Been a different story here in Statesboro tonight. It's been all Georgia Southern. Ball is tipped and still caught by the Eagles at the 25-yard line. Ball tipped, and Miles Campbell comes up with the catch nonetheless.
Hey, these Eagle receivers don't get too many shots. Matt, when that ball's up in the air, they got to find some way, somehow to get it. And Miles went after that one like it might be his only chance.
Ibekwe, the linebacker, jumped up and batted it into the air, but Campbell was there to catch the deflection, and it's 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. And Breida, a couple of yards on the play. Breida a year ago, he went from a guy that in his freshman season had 1 carry for 15 yards to last year rushing for over 1,400 yards, close to 1,500 yards. And, Coach, perhaps the most astounding stat was he only lost 10 yards the whole season.
That is astounding, right? Shows that he's a north-south one-cut runner. For all his yardage, he's not a dip and dance guy. Okay, he's run straight ahead with the ball, see the opening, and go through it.
Unfortunate, it looks like he was injured on that play. You see him, they're tending to his right arm or right shoulder. Ramsby takes the pitch. Ramsby through the defense like a hot knife in butter and scores the touchdown, but there is a flag down at the 31-yard line. So Ramsby breaks off a 23-yard touchdown run. We'll see if it stands.
But whether it stands or not, Matt, that doesn't diminish the problem that the New Mexico State Aggies have out on the perimeter of the defense. After this call, we'll get into that.
Personal foul. Targeting number 2 defense.
Well, targeting the call on the Sam linebacker, Terrell Hanks. And I think it must have been on the quarterback, Fabian Upshaw, that he took the targeting penalty. We'll see if we can check that. This will, of course, go under review to find out whether Hanks is ejected from the game.
Yeah, Matt, as I was saying, every defense to be sound has got to set the edge on perimeter plays. There has to be a specific defender designated for that job. As we can see here, there are no defenders even in the picture. Nobody's setting the edge. That's the third or fourth major gain that's occurred out on the perimeter. Okay, that's what big plays occur, and they continue to do so. The Aggies are going to have to get that fixed, not only for tonight. Those things show up on video. Okay, everybody is going to be taking a look at that and taking the ball to the perimeter against New Mexico State.
Meantime, as far as the targeting call is concerned, you can see it there kind of going out of your screen. Now watch, here's a better look at it right here. We lose it right there. Remember, you've got to have video evidence to overturn the call, and this is bad news for Terrell Hanks. They've got to have video evidence that he did not target, or else he's going to be ejected.
With the head or with the shoulder, Matt. Hard to tell on that one, but...
And that's the point I was making. I don't know that we're going to have video evidence to overturn it for him, and the call on the field is targeting, which means he would be ejected.
If so, that would be a tough break for him because...
On that one, it looks to me like he did not target with the helmet.
He didn't aim with the helmet, that's for sure. He led with the shoulder. Sometimes this helmet-to-helmet contact is inadvertent. The only way to avoid it sometimes, Matt, is to cut their heads off. I mean, they're part of the body. It's going to happen sometimes. It did not look like that was the intent of the player.
Yeah, it looks like that final look that we saw, Coach, looks like that might be the thing that saves Terrell Hanks from being ejected in this game. But again, it has to be undisputable, undeniable evidence to overturn the call. And again, the call on the field is targeting on number 2, Terrell Hanks.
That's a pretty severe penalty to eject a player. You better make sure you're right when you make that one. Unfortunately, Matt, the officials a lot of time are schooled by their director of officials. When in doubt, call it.
Wow. So Hanks is out of the game.
If they're going by this when in doubt, there should be no doubt. It either is or it isn't.
It is a touchdown.
As an official, you shouldn't be able to make calls in the gray area. It's got to be black or white. That looked like it was in the gray area to me.
So Jason MacArthur, our referee, with the call, and Terrell Hanks, who's one of their top players, the freshman linebacker with 39 tackles on the season, top 10 in the conference in tackles per game, is done for the night, ejected on the targeting call. And I knew that was going to be the problem for Hanks, is that when they make that call on the field, you're kind of now guilty until proven innocent instead of innocent until proven guilty. They've got to find the evidence to overturn the call.
Yeah, that's a great system of justice, huh?
So Hanks is done for the night. Morgan, their top receiver, icing his knee. We're trying to get a status report on him. And the PAT by Hanks is good. And Georgia Southern has a 28-0 lead.
And the Eagles really, in the bye week, I'm sure, well, I know that they worked on their downfield passing game to make it more proficient and more efficient on a play-to-play basis. It really hasn't paid off for them tonight, but that running game that they've rose to so many victories in a row and to the lead in the Sun Belt Conference continues to be dynamic.
And here's the 23-yard touchdown run by L.A. Ramsby. And Coach, you kind of hit the nail on the head earlier in the night when you said, what a luxury of deep running backs this Georgia Southern team's had. Well, all 4 of them, when you count Ellis, and I count him as a running back too, Breida, Ellison, Fields, and Ramsby have all scored here in the first half.
They all have significant talent, Matt, but most telling is the unselfishness that they have. There's no, well, I should get my carries, or I need the ball more. They're all happy for each other's success. They know eventually their opportunity is going to come. They work hard to help each other out. It really says a lot about the cohesiveness that Coach Fritz has been able to build with his team.
Well, 232 yards rushing for the Eagles here in this first half. They lead the nation 377 yards rushing per game, and they're well on their way to obliterating that per game average in this contest today. All the way 10 yards beyond the end zone. Of course, the penalty, the targeting penalty, the personal foul had been tacked on, so that was why he was able to kick the ball through. And so the ball comes out to the 25-yard line for the Aggies. Now, Coach, I'm going to put you in this situation. You were rarely in this situation where you're down this badly in the first half. If you're Coach Doug Martin, what's the game plan now that you're down by 4 scores so early?
Well, you're kind to think that way, Matt, but unfortunately in this profession, almost all of us have found ourselves in those circumstances. The thing to do right now is just forget about the scoreboard, okay, and try to get back to getting some sense of stability with your team offensively and defensively. The game has declared itself to you by now. That is the scheme that the other team is using. What they need to do principally is get that perimeter fixed on defense, okay, get their pass protection fixed on offense, and just try to play a clean, stable game to build on for the future from this point on.
Falasa, the left guard, was called for the penalty, so 1st and 15 now. Rose. And they're doing exactly what you said. Let's get back to the game plan. We run the football. Let's don't abandon what we've come here to do and try to pretend like the game's 0-0.
They're out of whack, Matt, in which the ball has been in Allen's hands more than in Rose's hands. Rose is one of the most dynamic players in the Sun Belt. He needs to get it 25, 30 times a game. Okay, rest him during the week. Don't rest him during the games.
8 carries, 56 yards for Rose now. He'll get it again, second consecutive carry as Rose gets up to the 36-yard line, where he is tackled by Logan Hunt, the true freshman defensive end from Sandersville, Georgia.
Right, those 2 carries, hey, may not be as exciting as a long pass, but they accomplished a lot more. 2 carries with Larry Rose, a first down. He's right on his average.
So 1st and 10, ball at the 36-yard line for the Aggies. Allen going to go to the air, and it is complete to Caldwell. Caldwell with some room to run. Sprints down the sideline, and he might go all the way, and finally brought out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
Caldwell showed some real speed there, but guess who ran him down, Matt? Ironhead, the middle linebacker, okay, who has great speed. He's converted safety. He rode him down on the 4-yard line or inside the 4-yard line, but a nice completion, okay, in scoring territory for morale's sake as this half winds down. Significant that the Aggies use all 4 downs to get the ball in the end zone.
61 yards on the play. They officially spot it at the 3-yard line. 1st and goal to go for the Aggies. They go to the air, and that's a nice catch and throw for a touchdown. Jordan Bergstrom with the touchdown catch, his 2nd of the season. And the Aggies quickly get 6 on the board.
Hey, very good news for the Aggies and their fans. Really a nice job by Allen on the back shoulder fade. He and the receiver were on the same page. The defender was up on top of the receiver to try to prevent the fade. They both knew what he was going to do, threw it to the back shoulder. Well executed. That'll score every time.
So nicely done. A couple of carries by Rose. Then you get a big hitter on a short pass that Caldwell does all the heavy lifting. Then the back shoulder throw to Bergstrom for the touchdown. And the PAT by Davidson is good. And it's 28-7, just like that.
3:53 to go until halftime and homecoming festivities. Eagles 28, Aggies 7.
So nicely executed by Andrew Allen that time on the offense. In particular, the touchdown pass to Bergstrom. Here's a young man that Allen played quarterback last year, came to spring practice. They were going to transition him to wide receiver, went through all spring, went through preseason practice as a wide receiver. A couple of weeks ago, they decided we're going to move him back to quarterback with the intent on redshirting him. Tyler Rogers gets hurt, Coach, and now he is starting quarterback for this Aggies team, maybe for the rest of the season.
The fact that he was in the game as a wide receiver, Matt, shows his playmaking ability and his athletic skill. That's a real positive for him. By the same token, while he was practicing wide receiver, he wasn't taking turns in practice at quarterback.
Right.
So he's got some catching up to do. Okay, but what this Aggie team needs is a real shot of confidence, individual confidence and team confidence. Confidence comes from demonstrated performance. It doesn't come from wishing about it. It doesn't come from talking about it. And that's the kind of play that can give Allen confidence in his ability to make these kind of throws.
There's Derek Keaton, the all Sun Belt Second team return specialist for the Eagles, averaging 26 yards per return, which is number 2 in the conference. Bobbles it at the goal line and picks it up. Coming here to the near side and going to run out of real estate as he steps out of bounds at the 26-yard line, and that's where the Eagles go back on offense here with 3:46 to play in the half.
Good opportunity here for the Eagles to look at this as an end-of-the-half circumstance. Okay, call the game. Let's make believe that this score was 14-14 right now. Okay, maybe as it will be in a couple weeks in one of those title contender matchups. Okay, how are we going to get the ball down the field to close the half off with a score?
So Ellison goes back out there at quarterback for Georgia Southern, and Breida does not go back out there. Remember, Breida hurt his shoulder or arm on the previous possession. We'll try to find out what his status is. And remember, Georgia Southern has a short week of practice coming up. Ellison fakes the pitch, and Ellison picks up a couple of yards. A short week of practice, Coach, because they've got the big showdown coming up at App State on Thursday night, national television on ESPNU.
Well, if there's any doubt about Matt Breida, this might be a good opportunity to just sit him for the rest of the game. They've got quality guys playing the tailback position and a 21-point lead. As you said, Matt, that's good thinking with a short week. Let's get him ready here to go against Appalachian State on Thursday night.
257 total yards. All but 25 of those yards have come on the ground as Ellison keeps it again. What a nifty run by Kevin Ellison up to the 40-yard line as he picks up the first down.
That was a quarterback draw all the way. That's the type of play that you would run at this field position in a end-of-the-half drive. Real nice lead block by Dean to get him up into the secondary. This guy would be a tailback for many teams. That's how good a runner he is.
Came in with 2,208 yards rushing, trying to get over 2,000 yards for his career, and he's going to do it with that catch right there by Wesley Fields, who will score the touchdown.
Really a good play call in this circumstance. Kevin Ellison sprints out to his right after faking the ball to Fields, but Fields never stopped. He continued all the way down the left sideline. He got lost in the secondary. New Mexico State did not account for him. A dramatic play. That's the type of up the field, vertical pass that the Georgia Southern Eagles have been looking for and have been practicing to add even more juice to their offense. Good call, good throw, confidence builder.
Absolutely. Wesley Fields with his second touchdown of the night. They go along with his 19-yard touchdown run. That is a 60-yard touchdown pass play from Ellison to Fields. And with that touchdown pass for Ellison, he goes over 2,000 yards passing for his career as well.
And let's give some credit to Doug Roos, the offensive coordinator, who picked the most opportune time to call that. Married up the throwback with the sprint out. Well done by everybody involved, players, coaches.
(35-7), Georgia Southern. And we're not yet at halftime. That was a 3-play, 74-yard drive, and of course Fields did most of it after that catch and run. They are such a dangerous team. I don't know. We still got another half to go here with the Aggies, but Sun Belt Conference fans got to be really looking forward to, with great anticipation, that Georgia Southern at App State rivalry game on Thursday night.
Oh, there's some great matchups coming up in the Sun Belt, Matt. That one will be fun to see. Now this Georgia Southern kickoff team, this is a good unit to be on if you're a young player, because you get a lot of times to get in the game. There's a lot of times those kickoff cover guys, no need for their parents to come to the game. Here their parents get their money's worth.
Younghoe Koo with the kickoff for the Eagles, going to be taken by Caldwell, who nearly scored the touchdown on the previous possession for the Aggies. He's on the return this time, and Caldwell cannot even make it back to the 20 as he is stopped at the 18-yard line.
The Eagles do it so often. They get a lot of on-the-job training, and they're good at it. They've had terrific coverage here throughout the first half. Every return kick has been tackled inside the 20-yard line. Terrific job by the Eagles coverage teams.
Yeah, and that was Tony Stewart on the tackle for the Georgia Southern Eagles. Eagles came into the ball game number 2 in the Sun Belt in net kick average, just under 42 yards on the net kick. Up top they go, and it's caught deep. Mistake in the secondary for Georgia Southern, and that is going to be a touchdown for Bergstrom.
Well, Doug Martin standing over there on the sideline and says, hey, I got that one in my playbook too. A very similar play, not exactly the same, but very similar. Unfortunately, typical of what's plagued the Aggies, penalty.
Wow. How does that happen on a play like that, Coach?
That's a loss of focus and a loss of discipline. Okay, that's a player mistake. In tennis, they call that an unforced error. Just a foolish penalty. But as we've said, Matt, that's how you lose 15 in a row. You get an 80-yard touchdown called back.
Wow. That was going to be an 82-yard touchdown pass from Allen to Bergstrom, and it gets erased by an eligible man downfield, which is also, let's see if we can see who gets downfield. Who's downfield?
Yeah, there's a guy right there in the middle of the field. They called the right tackle on that. He's just kind of standing there with nobody to block, kind of watching the play. Bad news for the Eagles. That's about the 4th time they've busted coverage today. That won't work against the Appalachian State Mountaineers on Thursday night.
So 1st and long now. Allen on the run after he loses the big touchdown play. Jay Ellison makes the tackle for the Eagles.
Matt, there's an adage of good defense that games are lost in the secondary faster than any place else. Okay, and that's the 3rd or 4th breakdown in the secondary that the Georgia Southern Eagles have had. Okay, and that's got to be of concern moving forward. I'm sure those will get immediate attention tomorrow. The other concern is the senior leader, free safety, Matt Dobson, is down on the field.
Yep.
And if you're going to get your secondary fixed against those big plays, you need all your veteran players in there.
And you brought it up. They will be practicing tomorrow. We asked Coach Willie Fritz, had he talked to his team about not looking ahead to App State. He said the only thing we addressed in regard to that was we told them we're going to be practicing on Sunday, which typically they don't do. And it's going to be a short week of practice. They had not addressed the App State game, and typically you would not think that they would. As you see Dobson shaken up, so we've seen Dobson go off. We've seen Breida go off. And the Eagles will need all of those guys when they go to Boone, North Carolina this week. So back to business here. 2nd down. Allen rolling, stopping, and throwing. And a long throw and complete to the 32-yard line. And another big gash against this Georgia Southern defense.
Wisely called by Coach Doug Martin. The same play that was just called back, just thrown to a different receiver. Allen is making some throws now, and he's building some confidence for the second half, and most particularly the second half of the season.
Teran Taylor made that catch and run for the Aggies, and yet another player down for Georgia Southern, and this is Deshaunte Gallen. Coach, they're losing players right now, and they're not reserves, they're star players.
Yeah, this has got to be of concern. The big issue with Matt Dobson, Matt, is going to be how is he tomorrow? That is, he limped off the field. Those are the things that at a certain point may not appear to be too serious, but can swell overnight. And that will be the big thing to find out about Dobson when he gets into the training room tomorrow morning.
So it looks like Gallen is able to walk this one off. Doesn't look like his problem is that severe.
With the training staff carrying his helmet, that's often an indication, okay, that it was a head injury.
So they'll get into the protocol with him. So I backtrack on that. It could be severe. So 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. They go up top looking for Caldwell, and Caldwell unable to run it down, but a flag's going to come out on the strong safety Antonio Glover.
Allen shows a lot of arm, throwing the ball out into the corner. Glover, a safety, trying to cover a wide receiver. That's not the most advantageous matchup. The ball's got a little bit of air underneath it, but he clearly grabs his arm and pulls the receiver down.
15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic
Well, Coach,
first
all
down.
of a sudden, the Aggies are exposing the Eagles for some vulnerabilities for future opponents here.
Yes, you're right, Matt. The Eagles are looking a little bit ragged here on their pass coverage. The good news also for the Aggies on that play, against the same blitz in which Allen was hit in the back just a couple series ago, the offensive line picked it up beautifully and gave him the time to throw the ball deep.
So 1st and 10, ball at the 32-yard line. Allen going to go up top again, looking for Bergstrom, and Bergstrom can't haul it in. Caleb Williams, the corner, running step for step with him. Bergstrom nearly had the touchdown catch, but couldn't hold on.
Yeah, very nice throw on that one. Threw it over the outside shoulder. Okay, you see it go over the right shoulder right there, which is where you should throw it. Only the receiver can get his hands on it just a little too far. But, hey, Allen's making some nice throws here as he gets a little bit of a rhythm and some confidence going, and he's airing the ball up there. Ironhead is back in the game, by the way, Matt.
That's great news for the Eagles. Here comes the blitz, and it's him on the blitz, and it's him on the tackle. Man, he didn't want to take any time off. He gets right in there, comes on the blitz, makes the tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Hey, he was like that old song. He was standing next to the coach saying, "Put me in, coach. I know where they're going to run the play."
How about Gallen? Now, he's a little small, 5'9", 210 for the next level, but he's a legit 4'4", 40, according to head coach Willie Fritz. And NFL scouts coming here to take a look at Antwan Williams and tell Willie Fritz, we like 37, but we can't keep our eyes off 27.
Well, that's kind of the story. That's the way I would look at him too, Matt. You know, there was a 5'9" linebacker not too far from here, Sam Mills, with the Carolina Panthers, who was a great player, but he's an anomaly. Okay, those short players, short in stature means short arms. That's a problem in block protection. When you watch him, you got to love him the way that he plays. Okay, but if you're looking to draft him, you also got to say, what am I going to do with this guy?
Yep.
Okay, how am I going to play him against a 6'5", 320-pound lineman in a different style running game in the NFL? Okay, right now his role would be as a special teams specialist.
3rd down and 10. Allen avoids the rush, scoots to the outside. Antwan Williams runs him down. That shows you the great speed that Antwan Williams has, too.
Well, there's the guy whose skill levels look like he's got a chance to be an NFL player, and his body matches that game.
How about that? 9 tackles for Antwan Williams, coach, in the first half.
He's the kind of player, what I can see, Matt, he's the kind of guy that I would love to come down here after, if I was in the NFL, come down here, watch video, put him through a workout, really get to know the player, okay, and get to know the person.
Well, 4th down, and they're going to try a long field goal here. This is going to be a 46-yard attempt for Parker Davidson. His previous long is 44. I see zeros on the play clock.
Right, just add this one to the list, Matt.
The officials did throw a flag in the end zone. So did they get a timeout? I didn't see a timeout signaled.
The back judge's job is to watch the clock and to call delay of the game. That's why he threw the flag. This should not
Will the
warrant
game
a
clock
lot of
operator please
conversation.
reset the game clock to 1 minute 4 seconds. 1 minute 4 seconds.
There is no foul on the play.
Okay. No foul on the play. Maybe the play clock never reset either. So it is a 46-yard attempt for Parker Davidson. Coming
46-yard field goal.
from the left hash mark, looking into the end zone. Davidson kicks it on its way, and it is no good. He pushed it off to the right.
It's no good. 45 seconds until
Not only was it not accurate, but it wasn't a particularly strong kick either. So what Coach Doug Martin found out is that, for future reference, that kick is beyond his kicker's range.
So he's now missed 4 of his 10 attempts this season, and the score remains 35-7.
Now, in terms of game management, score, clock, field position, Matt, the Eagles get the ball back to start the second half, so they're going to get another possession here. Let's see if they don't just run the ball here and let the clock run down, in that they are not a high-powered passing team.
Handoff, Ramsby. And looks like some pushing and shoving at the point of the tackle. No flag thrown. Might have been the final play of the quarter. I'm sure the Eagles are in no big hurry to run another play here.
Hey, Matt, you know, in Tupperware parties, you're not allowed to push and shove. In this game, pushing and shoving occurs.
Just comes with the territory, doesn't it?
Yep.
It's just part of the game. Just as long as things don't get out of hand, pushing and shoving.
Right, both players walked away from it. They didn't let anything develop. The official saw it. He was wise not to call anything.
How about a half for the Georgia Southern Eagles? 335 yards of offense, 250 yards on the ground. Wesley Fields scores a couple of touchdowns. Kevin Ellison runs for 91 yards. Antoine Williams with close to 10 tackles in the first two quarters.
Some dynamic plays for the Eagles offense. A lot of really good plays by Antoine, as you said, and the defense. Okay, but pretty sure I know what the conversation is going to be like here at halftime in the Eagles locker room. Keep the hammer down on offense. Let's keep doing the same things. We'll work a little bit on the passing game, but let's get this pass coverage fixed.
Well, coming up at halftime, we're going to check in on Charlie Strong. Kevin Rinaldi sits down. Mike Rinaldi sits down and talks with Charlie Strong, and then we'll have first half highlights coming up as well. Georgia Southern with a 35-7 lead on New Mexico State as we head to the break.
You're all excited to book that vacation flight. Plenty of seats to choose from, right? But the minute you try to use reward miles from your airline credit card, it's slim pickings. The flight you want, sorry, they ask for a ridiculous number of miles. Time to switch to the Capital One Venture Card. With Venture, you'll earn unlimited double miles. And using those miles is easy. Just book any flight you want on any airline, then use your miles to cover the cost. No blackout dates. What's in your wallet?
You're watching the Capital One Halftime Report. Sunbelt football from Statesboro, Georgia tonight. University of Texas is one of the best jobs in the country. Also one of the toughest, as Charlie Strong has discovered. ESPN's Tom Rinaldi sat down with the coach.
You're going to have ebbs and flows. You're going to have ups and downs. It should never be this bad.
It's year 2 of the experiment. It doesn't look good.
It's just your time to go.
There couldn't be more working against Charlie Strong for keeping his job.
How would you describe the state of the program right now?
I know this, that I stand behind my players, I stand behind my coaches, and I know we can get it done, and we will get it done.
Given that, how do you explain 1-4?
Well,
or 7-11?
It could have been better. Didn't coach as well as I could coach, and didn't prepare as well as we could prepare. But I look back at that record, like I said, no excuses. Play here, play there. Who knows where we would be? But at the end of the day, it is 7-11, and it is 1-4.
Wide open touchdown TCU. From bad to worse.
The biggest win for TCU against Texas.
We got to learn how to compete. We don't know how to compete yet, and it's all about pride. You have to have pride in yourself.
We don't know how to compete yet. Why not?
Going back and reviewing the tape on Sunday, I kind of took a step back and I said it wasn't so much of competing maybe, but we just didn't execute well. I just saw one mistake after another mistake.
Just incredible. It is what coaches have to deal with today, the idea that a player would actually tweet during a game.
Your freshman cornerback, Chris Boyd, sent out a tweet during halftime of that game. What did you say to him afterward when you found out?
He was just as disappointed and frustrated as I was. My quote with social media is, "It's the downfall of society." That's not the way you handle an issue, and that's not what you do. You don't ever use a phone at any time.
But what does a player sending a tweet at halftime say about the collective discipline of the group?
It wasn't so much of him speaking for the total group. He just, at that time, he was looking out for himself. And that's why I said to him, listen, those are things you can't do.
2 Longhorns absolutely should have had Mason Rudolph. Couldn't wrap him up.
They're hurting right now because they know that they can be much better than what they actually are. So when you have a team that's really hurting, then you know it's beginning to mean something to them.
What's the best or most interesting piece of advice you've gotten in the first 5 games this season?
I talked to Coach Brown. He has sat in this chair, and so he knows exactly what I'm going through right now. He said, you know who you are, stay the course. He said, I've been through those tough times, but I was able to overcome it, and the same thing is going to happen for you.
You're not a shot kick's over. You can't stop him like that. Grab. Hit punch. Good. Come on, fucker.
What would failure be here?
It's not that I look at it as that, hey, you may walk out of here one day and not get it done. That has never, ever crossed my mind. I don't ever want to feel like that I'm a failure. And I know this, and I can't fail. I represent so many people, and I represent so much. A lot of people didn't have this opportunity. And I have to make sure that I'm successful. And that's the only way I look at it.
What would success be this season?
I don't know if I can put a number on it. I just want to see us just improve.
For people that love this program, when they hear Charlie, I don't know if I can put a number on it. What do you think their reaction is to that?
What I want them to understand that each and every day I'm working to make this place as good as it possibly can be. The wins will come if you go compete at the highest level. That's going to happen for you. But we have to go compete and show that this program is making strides to go be as good as it can be.
When?
Sooner than later.
What does that mean?
A lot sooner than later.
You're watching the Capital One Halftime Report. As we come to you from Paulson Stadium in Statesboro, Georgia, on homecoming night for the Eagles and a 35-7 lead for Georgia Southern as they seek to extend their conference winning streak to 11 games and well on their way with a 4-touchdown lead on the New Mexico State Aggies. Let's check out the scoreboard in the Sun Belt. Georgia Southern, a 31-19 win over Ball State on the road today. Non-conference action for the Panthers as they improve to 2-4 on the season. Panthers quarterback Nick Arbuckle throws for 412 yards, 1 touchdown, runs for 2 other touchdowns. Robert Davis, 9 catches for 125 yards. Idaho goes on the road and picks up a Sun Belt victory at Troy, 19-16 the final there. Austin Rico, 4 field goals for the Vandals, and the Trojans' Jed Solomon missed a 32-yard field goal that would have tied it with 32 seconds to play. Start of the second quarter, Appalachian State playing in Monroe, Louisiana tonight, and with a 10-7 lead on the Warhawks as they begin the second quarter. Of course, App State and Georgia Southern have their big nationally televised showdown coming up Thursday night on ESPN at Kidd Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina. Headlines this week in the Sun Belt Conference: Arkansas State beat South Alabama 49-31 on Tuesday, and Arkansas State will play host to the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns coming up this Tuesday night. Ragin' Cajuns were off today and coming off a season-high 49 points in their win against Texas State last Saturday. And look at this, in the last 3 games, the App State defense has scored more touchdowns than they've allowed. Defense has scored 3 touchdowns, and they've allowed only 2. Takes us to our Sun Belt Conference Players of the Week. Offensively, it's the first-year starting quarterback for the Ragin' Cajuns, Jalen Nixon, the Offensive Player of the Week. The Defensive Player of the Week, Latrell Gibbs, and that ties into what we were telling you just a few moments ago with the Mountaineers scoring more defensive touchdowns than they've allowed. Well, that's because of Latrell Gibbs. Back-to-back weeks, he's had pick sixes, and he leads the nation with 5 interceptions. And the Special Teams Player of the Week goes to Jarrell Brazil of the Ragin' Cajuns as well, as they ready for their ball game against Arkansas State on Tuesday. Halftime here in Statesboro with the Georgia Southern Eagles on top of the New Mexico State Aggies 35-7. Matt Breida with a big half. He rushes for 69 yards and throws a big block on the touchdown run for his quarterback, Kevin Ellison. We'll come back and take a look at the rest of the first half highlights in just a moment. Welcome back. Halftime here at Paulson Stadium in Statesboro, Georgia, where the Georgia Southern Eagles hold a 35-7 lead on the New Mexico State Aggies. Matt stood along with head coach Al Groh. And, Coach, your thoughts on that first half, a dominating first half for Georgia Southern, in which they rolled up a lot of yards rushing the ball. But what have they done as far as getting this team ready to play App State on Thursday night?
Well, they stuck to what they do really well. Okay, the game has featured perimeter plays, perimeter runs, and deep balls for the Georgia Southern offense. Okay, it's featured passing plays for the Aggies, something that's got to get cleaned up by next Thursday night for the Eagles.
Well, Eagles have won 10 conference games in a row, and as we take a look at the highlights, the Aggies have lost 15 games in a row overall, and they've lost 15 games in a row overall because they do plays like this. Torres punting the ball right into the back of his own offensive line.
Yeah, very poorly done. Leads to a perimeter touchdown here by Breida. Another one coming up. We'll see almost all these plays, Matt, are out on the edge, utilizing the speed of the Eagles offense, but also exploiting the lack of force or setting the edge by the Aggies defense.
Ramsby becomes the fourth different back to score on this 23-yard run right here. Then the Aggies got to the air. Nice little pass here to Caldwell, goes for 63 yards and set up the touchdown to Bergstrom.
Well, they began to get a little bit of rhythm in their passing offense, most particularly some confidence.
And then Ellison right there, the touchdown pass to Wesley Fields. Second touchdown of the night for the freshman. That goes for 60.
A lot of guys scoring for the Eagles tonight. It might not be all over yet.
335 yards of total offense, 250 yards on the ground, and they have dominated this game offensively. The one thing I would think that the Eagles might be a little bit concerned about, and it's one thing that New Mexico State coach Doug Martin told us, is they feel like the Eagles are a little bit susceptible to the pass game, and at times there in the first half, and this might be nitpicking for a team that's leading 35-7, at times there seem to be opportunities for the Aggies, and they took advantage of it sometimes.
From a coaching standpoint, Matt, it's not nitpicking. Okay, those are plays that you're not happy about, that you know are going to be a problem in the future if you don't get them fixed. And the second half is the best time to get to work on that.
Well, it's been a festive homecoming night for the Georgia Southern Eagles. We are here at halftime, and the Eagles on top 35-7 will come back and get the third quarter started in just a moment.
Let's go, Dr. Bubby. So what's the best tradition in college football? Take a guess. Anybody? Anybody? I'll give you a hint. It's the playoff. It's only the second year. It's shiny and new like a little baby that I invented.
Oh, you invented it?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
Did you watch last year? Third string QB took home the trophy. Third string, that's you guys. You don't know what's going to happen in that playoff. I can't wait.
Aren't you supposed to be working or something?
Yeah, I am. Let's go, Dr. Bubby. Let's go.
Start of the third quarter. 35-7, Georgia Southern with the lead as the Eagles. Keaton will take it at the 9-yard line. And Keaton up to the 25-yard line, and that's where the Eagles will start their first possession of the third quarter following the tackle by Jermichael Selders. Jermichael Selders, the running back, made the tackle on the special team, so the Eagles have the ball first and 10 at the 26 is where they will officially spot it. We'll see if Breida comes out here and plays in the second half, and he is indeed coming out, so that's good news for the Eagles that he was not injured too severely in that first half. Ellison will pitch to Breida, and Breida still on his feet. Wow, looked like he was going to step out of bounds, and he just cuts back to the middle of the field and picks up an additional 8 yards.
With Ellison and Breida, that ball gets to the edge of the defense in a hurry, but the same problem shows up here for the Aggies. They're trying to set the edge from the inside out and from the secondary level. That doesn't work against this type of offense.
Breida 9 carries for 69 yards in the first half. And he goes for 17 on his first carry of the second half. 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 43-yard line. Clement, the linebacker, coming off the edge. Spin move by Ramsby. And Ramsby to the 46-yard line. Tackled by Robert Wagner.
2 wide receivers coming in the game. Tight end and a back go out, so now the Eagles go with 4 wide receivers. Not a customary look for them.
So 2nd down now. Pitch, Breida drops it. Ellison picks it up. But now, how did he do that? That should have been a 5-yard loss, and Ellison ends up making it about a 1-yard gain.
Well, alertness and just a real nice show of his overall athletic ability. You can see the Georgia Southern attack is to go after the perimeter of the defense of the Aggies, where they were so successful in the first half. They've made good yardage out there each time they've gone that way in the second half.
So 3rd down and 7 now with the ball at the 47 of the Eagles. Ellison fires, incomplete at the 45-yard line. Trying to connect with Miles Campbell, who had 1 catch for 12 yards in the first half, and it's going to be 4th down in a punting situation.
Yeah, there's
for the Eagles.
Offensive issue for the Eagles. Matt, there was an open receiver beyond the sticks for a 1st down. Now 35-7, it's easy to overlook it. Okay, but with some difficult games coming up, particularly next Thursday night, perhaps a showdown for first place with the Mountaineers, Ellison has got to hit those plays to keep his offense on the field.
Play gets blown dead. Point well taken, Coach. Ellison came into the ball game. They had completed only 47% of his passes, and Upshaw had completed only 27% of his passes. And on Thursday night, you're going up against the #1 defense in the Sun Belt Conference, and we'll talk about that matchup when we get back with Georgia Southern on top by 4 touchdowns here in the opening 2 minutes of the 3rd quarter. Back in Statesboro following the timeout by New Mexico State, you see Kevin Ellison, 2 of 5 passing in this game. Upshaw 2 of 3. So the Eagles are 4 of 8, but they haven't been consistent, especially on 3rd down, Coach. Can they beat App State with that kind of passing game?
Well, as you can see, Kevin's frustrated here with himself on that particular play. And when you get into conference championship action and into bowl games in the postseason, 3rd down and 8 and a receiver's open, you got to hit him. And the problems for Kevin have been with his pocket mechanics. Okay, they're sloppy and they're inconsistent. Sometimes real pretty, sometimes they look like a sandlotter. We don't expect them to be Tom Brady, okay, but you got to expect more out of them than that last pass.
Greg Hogan on the punt return. Riyad Jones with the special teams tackle for the Eagles. So the 15-yard line for the Aggies as the Aggies go back on offense, and not trying to dismiss New Mexico State too early here in this game because we still have a lot of time to play here in the second half. But if Georgia Southern takes care of business in the second half, tomorrow, very shortly, less than 24 hours from now, they'll be turning their attention to the Mountaineers. And so that's why we're looking ahead a little bit to that Thursday night matchup against App State on ESPNU. So Aggies go back on offense. Allen there at quarterback. Rose gets the handoff. Rose trying to get to the outside, and he does turn the edge as Gallen pushes him out of bounds.
Larry Rose shows real speed on that because contrary to what the Aggies have shown in those perimeter plays, Matt, the Eagles had 2 defenders in position to set the edge. They're just not used to seeing that kind of speed out there, and he ran past both Williams and Gallion to get 8 yards or a long 7 on that.
And Rose is now up close to 70 yards rushing in this game. As you see the numbers for Allen tonight. Allen has gone all the way. Nick Genty, the other quarterback, has not seen any action, and that was expected. as the pass is thrown complete. And that'll move the sticks on the reception by Teran Taylor.
A fairly similar route being run by the receiver there to the one that Kevin Ellison just missed. In this case, Allen was right on target, delivered the ball, had a lot of zip on it, stuck it right on the receiver's numbers for an easy catch and a first down. Good start to the half for the Aggies.
Yeah, Coach, the Aggies' top receiver, Teldrick Morgan, went to the sideline early in this game, had ice on his left knee. We have not gotten a report from the Aggies sideline about his availability for the rest of the game, but I think as we start this great catch and run by Rose, who remains the bright spot for the Aggies on this otherwise dismal night, but not seeing Morgan here to start this third quarter probably means we won't see him the rest of the night.
Larry Rose showed his skills as a receiver, catching the ball away from his body. And a beautifully thrown ball by Allen. That's not an easy throw, that swing route to a receiver running away from you. And he put it right out in front of him for a catch and run play.
So 1st and 10 for the Aggies from the 50-yard line. Hall in there after that run by Rose, and Hall picks up about 9 yards on the play down to the 41.
Yeah, the Aggies have a nice drive going right here. Just keep it moving forward with good, efficient plays. Run the ball inside, pass the ball to the edges. It's a formula that's working very well right now for the Aggies.
Brings up a 2nd down and 1. So far, 4 plays, 45 yards for the Aggies on this drive. Play action. Allen going up top and incomplete. Through to the back shoulder of Hogan. Unfortunately, he was turned inside towards the middle of the field, and it's going to be 3rd down and 1.
Hogan had to act like a defensive back on that play, and his intent at the end of the play was just to knock it down so it couldn't be intercepted. By going for it on 2nd down and short, it's a clear indication the Aggies are treating this as 4-down territory.
So 3rd down and 1. And that should be a 1st down carry for the Aggies as Hall gets to the 40-yard line.
Well, that took some drive and some push at the end of the play because initially the Eagles put up a pretty stout wall there right at the line of scrimmage.
Hall will come out, local kid from Las Cruces, New Mexico High School. That was his 3rd carry of the night.
Matt, with the ball on the 40, this would be good to think of it as 4-down territory, therefore making this 1st down play a time to take a shot.
Allen fires and complete to Bergstrom. Bergstrom picks up the 1st down as he runs out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Bergstrom with his 2nd catch of the ball game.
Another well-thrown ball, thrown with rhythm and confidence. These pocket mechanics are very clean and excellent by Allen. And once again, a big hole in the Eagles' coverage on pass plays.
And after dividing time last week against Ole Miss between Genty, the starter, and Allen, the number 2 quarterback, Doug Martin made the call this week that he didn't want to go 2 quarterbacks again for a 2nd straight week as the handoff goes to Rose, and Rose cuts back on Hicklin and gets down to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, this formula's working nicely, Matt. Short, quick passes by Andrew Allen, runs by Larry Rose. This is the best drive for efficiency and continuity that the Aggies have had tonight.
Impressed with Rose. He now has 12 carries for 78 yards, 4 catches for 31 yards. So 109 yards of total offense for Larry Rose tonight. Could you imagine if they had some weapons around him to help him? Allen throws, and that's not to say that they don't. Of course, Tyler Rogers, their starting quarterback, is a fine one, but he's out with that broken thumb. And Andrew Allen, I think, has a lot of promise. Remember, this is a kid that was playing wide receiver just a couple of weeks ago.
He's coming to life here as the game goes on, Matt. Hey, look, your weapons, it's like a baseball batting lineup. All right, not everybody hits the 3rd and 4th spot. Right. Okay, they're complementary players, and then there's guys that are intended to carry the team for you. And Andrew Allen and Rose are the 2 guys that have to be the 3 and 4 hitters for the Aggies.
And one of their top-of-the-order hitters, Morgan, on the sideline with an injured knee. So 2nd down and 10 here as Hall sprints to the outside, and a quarterback draw right up the middle for Allen as he gets down close to the 12-yard line.
Well, they need touchdowns, not field goals. So once again, They have the opportunity to use both the third and fourth down play to get the needed 6 or 7 yards. Also of interest here, Matt, is Matt Dobson has not returned here in the second half.
Yep, Dobson. I asked about him at halftime. We have not yet gotten a report from the Georgia Southern sideline about his availability for the rest of the ball game, but I think you're right. A good indication. Him not out there right now means he's not coming back tonight. Hicklin, that's going to be pass interference on him.
Well, it was a blitz, and at the end of the blitz, they're going to call Ironhead for a late hit on the quarterback, and that'll keep the drive moving.
We might have double penalties here. And so the Aggies will get their choice.
Personal foul, roughing the passer with targeting, number 27, defense.
Oh, wow.
The previous play is under further review.
Not double penalties, but a big whammy if this one holds true, because Gallen has now been flagged for targeting.
Well, we'll get a look at it here. Matt, look, that was, whether it was, no matter what the replay shows here, okay, Ironhead had every opportunity to retarget on this one. It wasn't inadvertent. All he had to do was go lower, or most particularly just run past. He put himself in jeopardy to be called for this. It looks like it is an accurate call, but he's the one who put himself in jeopardy. Just a foolish play, and it's going to have carryover implications into next Thursday night.
Exactly right. Here you are up 35-7, taking a needless shot on the quarterback that could cost you on Thursday night against the Mountaineers.
After
in what
review,
could be the biggest game
the ruling
of
on
the
the
season.
field is confirmed. Number 27 is disqualified. He'll be half the distance to the goal from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
DeShonte Gallen, their middle linebacker, one of their leaders on defense, disqualifies himself on the targeting call.
Sure, he led with his head, hit the quarterback right under the chin. Okay, he's upset. He's acting frustrated. He's the one he ought to be frustrated with, not the official.
So a 1st and goal to go with the ball at the 6-yard line now for the Aggies. But the bigger story for Georgia Southern is that young man has been ejected for targeting, and they will feel it on Thursday night when they play the Mountaineers. Throw in the fact that Dobson hurt, don't know about his status either. Hall gets the handoff, tries to get around the edge, and he will not be able to turn the corner.
Matt, fortunately for the Eagles, Chris De La Russa, number 34 in there at linebacker, is a very good player in his own right. And if Williams or Gallion were not on the team, he would be a legitimate starter, which he just automatically became for next Thursday night.
Tackle was made by Logan Hunt, as you see a long walk for DeShonte Gallen to get to the locker room. 2nd down and goal now. Allen throws. That is caught for a touchdown. Touchdown catch by Joshua Bowen, his first of the season, and the Aggies have their 2nd score of the night.
Yeah, another really nice play by Andrew Allen. Put the ball out there with good rotation on it. Made an easy catch for the receiver. This is a nice plan that Coach Doug Martin put together here for the second half for his Aggies, mixing the runs by the tailback, principally by Larry Russell, and the short passes to moving receivers by Andrew Allen. That's as good a drive as they've had in quite some time.
Parker Davidson on for the PAT. He puts it through. And it is 35-14 following the 3-yard touchdown pass from Allen to Bowen. So the Aggies pull a little bit closer. Still a long way to go. Halfway through the 3rd quarter, Georgia Southern with a 35-14 lead on the Aggies as Allen completes the 3-yard touchdown toss to Bowen. Joshua Bowen with his first touchdown reception of the season. And coach, an impressive 12-play, 4.5-minute, 86-yard drive for the Aggies to score their 2nd touchdown of the night.
It was very impressive, Matt, with some quality throws by Andrew Allen. He had good rotation on the ball, good aim. He was right on the bullseye with all of them. Some tough running by the 2 tailbacks. got the ball out of his hands in a hurry, wasn't holding on to the ball in this half.
And that targeting call right there on Deshaunte Gallen. And those are the bigger stories. There's the touchdown pass to Bowen to cap it. But as we go throughout the night here, the story within the story, the game within the game here now becomes who will Georgia Southern have in their starting lineup against the Mountaineers on Thursday night. We know it won't be Gallen because he'll be suspended for the first half on that targeting call. And we don't know about the availability of Dobson, their all-conference safety, who is not on the sideline right now after getting hurt in the first half. Keaton takes the ball at the goal line. And Keaton up to the 31-yard line.
He's an exciting return man. A lot of speed, a lot of energy. Matt, the Eagles are going to have to invoke that much used but always significant and pertinent next man up mentality.
Yep. Not only tonight, but perhaps on Thursday night, and definitely in the case of Gallen on Thursday night against App State.
Yeah, certainly moving forward for a while here.
So Breda's back out there for the second consecutive series. We saw him get nicked up a little bit in that first half, so that's good news for the Eagles as Ellison will run and keep. And Ellison up to the 37-yard line. Wanga making the stop. Ellison, that should put him over 100 yards for the night. That would be his 11th career 100-yard rushing game.
Well, they continue to go to the edge with the ball. Okay, now they've brought Jeff Ward in there, who at 6 foot and 255 has got the same body type as those blocky offensive linemen. This is the first time that we have seen the Eagles in a two tight end offense with both Ward and Dean in there.
Pitch to Breda. Breda got a block by Keaton. And now it's a foot race. Can anybody catch Breda? And finally shoved out of bounds by Lewis Hill, who had the angle on him.
Well, that's the best passing game that the Eagles have. Okay, those perimeter runs where Ellison has the opportunity to keep it or pitch it to Breda. Perfect timing, gets the ball to him right away where he can run with it. Real good blocks on the perimeter. Breda shows his speed and skill. He excites the crowd. Aggies show their deficiencies in playing the force.
So first and goal to go from the 7 after a 55-yard run by Breda. This one goes for only a yard. But how about Breda? A year ago, he had 7 scoring touchdowns of 50-plus yards. Of course, he didn't go for the touchdown right there. That was his 13th career run of 50 yards or more. And now has 135 tonight.
He's that cleanup hitter that we talked about before, Matt. He's in the number 4 slot on all plays.
Second down and goal. As Breda on the bench. Ramsby will complete the drive.
And that's Georgia Southern Eagle football. Explosive plays with their offense, using a variety of running plays in their complex and intricate running system and execution by the players. That was important from an attitude standpoint that they come back and answer that New Mexico State touchdown.
Ramsby scores from 5 yards out to make it 41-14. Second rushing touchdown of the night for Ramsby and his 6th of the season.
Yeah, these running backs and quarterback will include him with the running backs. Matt, they don't care who scores the touchdowns. They just want to see what the scoreboard looks like.
Their rushing game is some kind of fun. 339 yards on the ground tonight for the Eagles as they're back up by 4 touchdowns. Georgia Southern leading New Mexico State 42-14 with 6:18 to play in the third quarter. Willie Fritz's team well on their way to their 11th consecutive conference win. It's been a wild week in college football. Steve Spurrier just up the road in Columbia, South Carolina, resigned. Steve Sarkisian at Southern Cal fired. I thought it was interesting. Columbia, South Carolina television station did a story on candidates that were, quote, made sense for the Gamecocks to replace Spurrier, and Fritz's name made the list. Now, I don't know how much viability that is, but I think more than anything else, what it says to me, Coach, is people around the nation are starting to notice what Willie Fritz is doing here at Georgia Southern.
Willie Fritz is a really sound coach. He's won every place he's been. He's a detailed guy. He coaches his team on all the little things that make teams win, and he eliminates the things that cause them to lose.
Caldwell on the return, and he takes a lick at the 22-yard line. Big stick right there on the special teams coverage by Monte Crockett.
And this coverage has been outstanding. They've been a star unit in their own right here tonight, Matt. They've had plenty of opportunities at it.
Actually, I said that was Crockett, number 9. That was actually the kicker, Younghoe Koo, who made the tackle. So Aggies go back on offense. Allen going up top and incomplete. Looking for Hogan out there on the far edge.
You know, Matt, I once had a player whose circumstances were somewhat similar to Andrew Allen's. Okay, and that was the player Marcus Hagans, who's now the wide receiver coach in Virginia. Marcus was a terrific athlete and was a winning quarterback for me his junior and senior years. But his first 2 years were when he had a quarterback by the name of Matt Schaub. He's a pretty good player. Okay, conference player of the year, starter in the NFL. I didn't need a quarterback, but I sure wanted to get Marcus in the game. So he went out and played wide receiver for 2 years, returned punts, returned some of them for touchdowns. He was a dynamic player, but once he got his feet back underneath him as a quarterback, okay, he was a big-time quarterback for us too. And hopefully for the Aggies, they'll see the same type of situation develop with Andrew Allen, who's showing some very good things here this evening.
Agree wholeheartedly, and it remains to be seen whether Tyler Rogers will come back this year. Underwent surgery on that broken thumb on his left hand this week. This is the second game that he has missed. Intercepted at the 40-yard line. Antonio Glover taking it back the other way. Antonio Glover shot at a pick six, and he'll go down at the 5-yard line. Glover with his 5th pick of the season.
Boy, Glover played that beautifully. He knew where the sticks were. He was a middle of the field safety. He sat right there above the sticks, knew the receiver basically had to get there. And Andrew Allen will learn that you can't stare a receiver down in the middle of the field, which he knew where he wanted to throw it. It was a little predetermined. He gave Glover everything he wanted, which was a great clue as to where the ball was going to go, and he jumped it and had a lot of fun with that.
Another Eagle down on the play at the 6-yard line, and it's right there at the feet of Glover. I believe that is Darius Jones. I think it's number 5. It is number 5, Darius Jones, the nickelback, and he's able to run off the field, so that's good news. The Eagles don't want to lose any more players here after Gallen has already been ejected for targeting and Dobson has left the game with what appeared to be an injury, and we have not seen him back nor seen him on the sideline.
When you play a one-high safety defense as opposed to a two-high safety defense, those two are interchangeable in team schemes. That's what your middle-of-the-field safety should do. That's his job, and he did it beautifully.
Fabian Upshaw back out there at quarterback, 3rd series that he's run here tonight. Upshaw 2 of 3 passing for 21 yards. And Breida in motion. Gets to the slot. Upshaw going to keep it and run for the touchdown. Well, that was easy.
Well, when your quarterbacks can run like these two quarterbacks can, even when they empty the backfield out, they still have a talented tailback type runner in the backfield. So they sent Breida out to the right, Matt, as a decoy, and then Upshaw simply became the tailback on a gap scheme power play with the left guard pulling around to lead him into the end zone.
Fabian Upshaw becomes the 5th different Eagle to score a rushing touchdown tonight.
Just another concept and dimension of this varied and creative Georgia State running offense.
49-14 lead for Georgia Southern. 344 yards now rushing on the night, which still isn't their per game average, but it's good. 377 is what they average a game. Breida, of course, with a big night, 137 yards rushing on 13 carries and 1 touchdown. Kevin Ellison, 104 yards rushing on just 6 carries. This a 67-yard touchdown run. L.A. Ramsby, 8 carries, 69 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns. And Fields has also scored a touchdown, and so has Upshaw. That's his right there from 5 yards out. You might go a whole season, Coach, and have only 5 guys score rushing touchdowns. They've had 5 tonight.
Yeah, they're not finished yet either. Offensive coordinator Jack Roos hasn't put his pencil and paper away yet. Yeah, that was a really slick call in that situation, using Breida as a decoy, but the skills of Upshaw.
Younghoe Koo had the big tackle on the last special teams kickoff. Kicks this one to the end zone that time.
Yeah, Younghoe said, hey, nuts on this tackling business. I'm just kicking the ball out the back of the end zone, make it easy on everybody.
There's Younghoe Koo, the young man from Ridgewood, New Jersey High School. Came into the night. 10 of his 14 kicks have been for touchbacks. What a weapon that is.
All right, Matt, let's see how Andrew Allen shakes that interception off now. Okay, that's one of the things you learn about a quarterback. Will he come back and compete successfully, or will he go in the tank?
Well, Rose gets the handoff. And Rose not able to get around Hicklin, who pushes him out of bounds. You saw the 117 yards rushing for the Aggies tonight. 78 of those yards had come from that man right there, Larry Rose.
Yeah, another 5 on that play. Show he's got a lot of wiggle. He's got limber legs, limber hips, a lot of leg action. Okay, kind of used that scissor kick to make the tackle miss in the backfield.
Rose should get up over 700 yards rushing for the season by the time tonight's game is over. That's Rose on the pass catch, makes De La Rosa miss, and then Rose is tackled at the 29-yard line by Antoine Williams and Antonio Glover. That gives Williams double-digit tackles tonight.
Yeah, another show of skill, catching skills, catches the ball out away from his body, good body control. A lot of receivers, a lot of backs, Matt, they want to catch the ball close to their body because they're not confident. He catches the ball like a receiver when it's thrown to him.
3rd down and 6. De La Rosa coming on the blitz, and Allen has to get rid of it and throws it at the feet of Hall. It's going to be 4th down.
Both De La Rosa and Antoine Williams on the blitz against man coverage. Double A-gap blitz. The fastest way to the quarterback is up the middle, and that's where those guys came from.
So Anthony Torres on the punt for the Aggies, as they'll have to give it back with 4:16 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Ugly rugby-style kick that Keaton will pick up after it ricochets off of the defender. And Keaton still dancing around down there. Finally goes down at the 25-yard line. And I know, Coach, you don't like the rugby-style kick, and neither do I.
Well,
I like it if it's done effectively.
Those who would want to argue for it don't have much evidence tonight.
No, I like it when it works. It has not worked very well tonight, I think.
I like those kickers who kick them high and deep. Keaton showed good awareness of the rules on that play, Matt. The ball hit the cover man for the Aggies. That's a penalty that does not create any loss of yardage. It's called illegal touching. Okay, the official's making the signal now. On illegal touching, once the cover team touches it, the receiving team can pick it up and run with it, and should the runner fumble the ball, they still get it back at the point of illegal touching. A good awareness of the rules. I mentioned earlier, Coach Willie Fritz, a real detailed coach, teaches his team all these little special things, and it shows up in the games.
Yeah, that's a great point there, Coach. That in essence becomes a free play. You can't make a mistake on it, and if you do, it's not going to cost you.
Blitz.
Not much doing as Wesley Fields gets the carry. 3rd carry of the night for Fields, but he scored twice tonight. Scored on a 19-yard touchdown run in the 1st quarter, and then on a 60-yard pass play with Ellison in the 2nd. came into tonight, 300 yards rushing on the season. Here's got Ramsby in the backfield now. You had Fields run the ball right there. Both those guys were high school quarterbacks who are running backs in this Georgia Southern system. And that's Ramsby who gets the carry. And Ramsby had some pretty good numbers at Colerain High School in Cincinnati. His senior year, he threw for 1,600 yards and 15 touchdowns.
That's a real powerhouse in the strong Cincinnati Public School League. Now, that was just a semblance of the old Green Bay sweep. Matt, they give the ball to the back going from left to right, pull both the guards, block the tight end at the point of attack, and try to get the ball into the perimeter, which they have successfully done all night long. So while Georgia Southern is an option team at its core, they've got a lot of power running plays also.
1st and 10. Handoff goes to Fields. Fields gets to the edge. Got a block out there. Flag goes down. Probably going to bring this one back. Fields all the way for the score, but a flag sitting on the ground at the 44-yard line.
Well, they're going to call holding on the wide receiver over to that side.
Ten-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
That will be on Monte Crockett.
First down.
Will erase the long touchdown run by Wesley Fields.
It's up on the top of the screen there, Matt.
Right there, get engaged, yep. Wasn't much of a hold if it was a hold.
Well, it looked like he had a little tug on the shirt. That might not actually result in a hold, but when that shirt gets tugged and pulled away from the pads, that flag's going to come out like it's coming out of the Jack in the Box.
So instead of a 54-yard touchdown run for Fields, it's now 1st and 10 from the 46 again.
Play comes in from the sideline after Jack Rush assesses the defensive alignment.
Upshaw fires and flag out, and the ball was dropped at the 44-yard line as the intended target, Keegan Williams from nearby Metter, Georgia High School, couldn't hold on to it.
Personal foul, illegal hand to the face, number 99, defense. 2-yard penalty on the first down.
That's Stephen Meredith, the defensive end. Watch him coming off the edge here. And there's the illegal hand to the face right there as he got his hand up underneath the face mask of the offensive lineman.
There was another pass to a wide open receiver off the mark. Matt, with Upshaw in there, who possesses a strong arm and a lot of zip on the ball. We know, look, the Georgia Southern coaches, they know they can run the ball on this team, particularly to the perimeter. What they want to find out is how well they can throw the ball. There'd be an opportunity to do that throughout the rest of the game.
Keeper Upshaw coming this way. He'll step out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
This option play, speed option play, and counter option play with lead blockers in front of these fast tailbacks is money in the bank for the Eagles.
Third rush of the night for Upshaw, who had a 5-yard touchdown run on the previous possession for the Eagles. So second consecutive possession, we've seen Upshaw out there, and we might see him the rest of the night.
And we're seeing the Eagles in that sugar huddle. They turn around quickly to disguise the formation and get the ball snapped.
Carry by Ramsby. And we were talking about Ramsby. He played his high school ball in Cincinnati. It was that sugar huddle that we first saw in Cincinnati with Sam Weiss, the head coach.
Well, that's right. Sam Weiss, when he was the head coach of the Bengals in the late 80s, Matt, and Boomer Esiason was his quarterback, they used that sugar huddle to a great advantage for themselves. We're going to see it again on this play. It enables the team to go at a high tempo, but disguise their formation and prevents significant defensive substitutions. Boomer Esiason was a master at using this.
1st and 10 on the run by Ramsby. Used that huddle and Esiason and Weiss, and they got to the Super Bowl losing to the 49ers in the late 80s.
That sugar huddle produced quite a few touchdowns that resulted in the Icky Shuffle.
Now made famous on Geico commercials, I think.
That was the only dance I could ever learn. If you've seen that commercial, you knew why it's the only one I could learn.
2nd down and 6, final minute of the third quarter. Keeper Upshaw getting to the edge, and he'll run to the sticks and hurdle the subway sign twice.
Upshaw is known as one of the faster players on the Georgia Southern team, and every time he takes the ball to the edge, he's got a real burst and acceleration, and he shows that speed.
Didn't get the first down. They say he steps out at the 21, so 2 yards shy of the first down. This will probably be the final play of the third quarter. High snap, hauled in by Upshaw, given to Fields. Fields gets out of a hog-tie tackle and picks up positive yards. They had him dead in the backfield. They tried to tackle him around the helmet, and he picks up a first down at the 17-yard line.
Well, when those players go in the off-season program, Matt, and they do squats and deadlifts and all to build lower body strength, that's where it shows up on a play like that. It was just his leg strength that enabled him to shake off the tackle and get the first down.
That will do the third quarter. Georgia Southern with a 49-14 lead on New Mexico State. They've averaged 46.5 points per game in this 4-game winning streak. They've topped that tonight. Homecoming night here in Statesboro, 49-14. Georgia Southern well on their way to their 11th consecutive conference victory and leading New Mexico State by 5 touchdowns as we begin the final 15 minutes. 1st and 10 for Georgia Southern at the 17-yard line as we start the fourth. Matt Stewart along with head coach Al Groh. Thanks for joining us tonight. Sunbelt Football on ESPN. Upshaw will go down. Ibekwe making the tackle at the 18-yard line. 8th tackle tonight for Ibekwe.
He's got a lot of inside-out speed, Matt, and a lot of range, and as a young player, a bright future as a middle linebacker.
Yeah, he started as a true freshman last year, 2nd leading tackler for the Aggies with 102 stops, and head coach Doug Martin feels like he's just getting better as he goes.
Eagles have got their 4th tailback in the game now, Chaz Thornton.
Thornton only 7 carries for 88 yards the entire season. Upshaw, flag goes down. Thornton going to be flagged for the penalty. Had a takedown block, otherwise usually known as holding.
Now, this accumulation of penalties, particularly major penalties, pass interference, holding, targeting, they've got to be a concern to the Eagles. There's a lot of hidden yardage involved in these negative plays.
Holding, number 43 offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, still 2nd down.
So as we mentioned, the holding call here on Thornton. Watch number 43. Yeah, he tackled the guy.
He's a 5'7" player blocking a much taller player. A 5'7" guy like that ought to be cutting down at the knees and on the thigh pads. You try to block a much taller player like that, you make yourself very susceptible to illegal use of hands.
So that's now 6 penalties for 71 yards for Georgia Southern tonight. Upshaw gonna score easily. My goodness. Upshaw sprints 29 yards for the score in his 2nd touchdown of the half.
Lead option play, but they've got 2 blockers out in front, Matt. They pull the backside guard. They have the front side tight end there. As we saw in the very first quarterback so-called option play of the game, okay, when it's as much a quarterback sweep as it is an option pitch, more often than not, these fast quarterbacks, Ellis and Upshaw, keep the ball and turn it into a very exciting play.
56-14. Fabian Upshaw's second touchdown rushing of the night. And Upshaw and Georgia Southern slicing through the Aggies defense tonight on the way to a big victory in Statesboro. Opening 1:13 of the fourth quarter, the Eagles add to the avalanche of scoring here on the 29-yard touchdown run by Upshaw. And it's now 56-14 as Younghoe Koo will kick off again. And another touchback as Caldwell will take a knee.
A lot of those kick cover guys, Matt, disappointed he took a knee.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of fun with that tonight.
So the Aggies come out here to the 25-yard line. And if you're Doug Martin, what do you do here offensively?
I would do the things that I want to give my young quarterback experience in doing. Whatever the plays are that he feels most comfortable with, I'd let him run those plays, run or pass. That's a real nice job right there, putting the ball out on the play-action fake to the tight end. They got a lot of backups in the game now for the Eagles, and the new safety in the game had his eyes in the backfield and never saw the tight end running up the seam.
Yeah, it was Clayton Grant with the catch, just his second catch of the season, and a nice one, too. Going over the top, and it's caught over the shoulder by Bergstrom.
Boy, we're seeing the quarterback come alive here, Matt. These are two excellent throws in a row to start this series. Can't throw them any better than these last two, particularly on this one. Beautifully thrown over the outside shoulder, leads the receiver away from the defender. That's exactly how it should be done. This is fun watching this guy develop and come alive.
Well, Doug Martin has been true to his word that he has stuck with Allen and not rotated the quarterbacks, and it looks like it's paid off for him. And you got to decide on who your guy's going to be, and it looks like Allen is that man as he fires quickly to the outside, and Bowen makes the grab at the 20-yard line and brought out of bounds.
Yeah, these aren't just catches. They're balls thrown exactly where it's an easy catch for the receiver.
So Georgia Southern plays at App on Thursday night. Right now, the Mountaineers leading UL Monroe 24-14. That is at the start of the third quarter. So Georgia Southern actually has a little bit of an advantage from a schedule standpoint. I'll point that out in a moment as the handoff goes to Hall, and he gets down to the 16-yard line. Georgia Southern starts preparation for App State tomorrow, and they're here at home. App State starts preparation for Georgia Southern tomorrow. They got to fly home, get home late from Monroe, Louisiana, so they're a little bit behind in their scheduling than Georgia Southern.
Well, knowing the coach's life, Matt, they've already started their preparation, anticipating the late arrival, and they'll be working on the plane coming home tonight.
Third down and short here for the Aggies. Big hole up the middle for Hall, and holding on for dear life there, the tackle made by Ken Butler, the linebacker. He grabbed himself some jersey. In the old days, in the old Earl Campbell days, that's going to be cloth in your hand, and he's going to be in the end zone on those old tearaway jerseys.
Oh, you're exactly right about that. Now, Xavier Hall's had himself a nice night carrying the ball in his own right, Matt, and he's in there again.
6 carries, 29 yards for Hall. Also a couple of catches for 19 yards and a timeout called by New Mexico State.
Now, a positive part of having this type of lead for a team like Georgia Southern is there are a lot of guys who get to play. Okay, here for most of the fourth quarter now, there'll be a lot of backups in there on defense. As the season goes on, at a certain point, some of those guys in there might have to become first-team players or finish a game, and they're getting the type of experience that will have them ready for that circumstance.
Well, as we've mentioned throughout the night, the big game for Georgia Southern coming up Thursday night at App State on ESPNU. That's New Mexico State's schedule. They've got Troy coming up next. And they'll be playing host to Troy, a team that lost today at home against Idaho, and then Idaho the next one after that. So back-to-back weeks, Troy and Idaho coming up for New Mexico State. So 1st and 10 from the first and goal, I should say, from the 9-yard line. And a nice catch by Bowen for a touchdown. And another flag comes out at the point of the quarterback hit.
Well, we saw on that throw in the previous 3 real accuracy and skill on Andrew Allen's part. But on that one, what we saw is this guy's got guts, Matt. He saw that receiver coming right at him. He stood there and
foul.
took it.
Targeting. Number
wow,
32,
another targeting
defense.
goal.
And these guys love
the
this
result
one.
of the play was a touchdown.
It's like the
play
flavor
is
of the
further
season.
review.
Yeah, we've already had 2 players ejected tonight for targeting. And William Bussey right there is going to get ejected too. That's the backup linebacker, William Bussey. And wow.
Look, this targeting has narrowed the acceptable range in which to hit a player, but it still goes, it's like a baseball strike zone. It still goes from the shoulders to the knees. Okay, these 2 guys for the Eagles have just jumped into the quarterback at head level. Okay, it was unnecessary to do it in either particular case. The second guy's got to learn from the first guy.
So this is under review, and if it holds, Bussey's going to be ejected from this game and also disqualified for the first half against App State. That means they would be down 2 linebackers.
Yeah, and as we said just a few series ago, these major penalties are adding up. Sure, you can overlook them if you're careless in a 56-20 game, but you have to look at them in the big picture and how that's going to affect a 20-20 game.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that Bussey avoids this right there. There's helmet-on-helmet contact on that one. I mean, Gallen was not helmet-to-helmet, but he did lead with the helmet. That led to his targeting ejection. And Bussey here, there was helmet-to-helmet contact. He's going to be ejected too. And, of course, New Mexico State also had a player ejected. Their linebacker, Terrell Hanks, was ejected on a targeting call.
Bussey appears to even try to hold up a little bit.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Number 32 is disqualified. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. It is a touchdown.
Wow, so Bussey will join Gallen in the locker room, and Dobson too. I don't know that Dobson has ever come back out. He was hurt in the first half, and we have not seen him on the sideline the entire night unless he has changed out of his jersey altogether.
To attempt the extra point from the hold of Greg Hutchins.
So Parker Davidson back out there for another PAT attempt, his 3rd of the night. That was a 9-yard touchdown pass from Allen to Bowen. So Allen with 3 touchdown tosses this evening. And they missed the extra point. Looked like there was some trouble on the placement by Hutchins, who's the backup punter. And it's 56-20. So New Mexico State pulls a little closer, but the Eagles still way out in front. 56-20, Georgia Southern with the big lead on New Mexico State with 11.5 minutes to play. And the Aggies will kick off from the 50-yard line following the targeting penalty against the Eagles is assessed to the kickoff because it was a scoring play. Coach, in this situation, I'd onside kick. I mean, you're already at the 50-yard line. I mean, good opportunity to practice that. You're not going to win the game. You've lost the game. Why not work on some of those things that you might need later in the season? And onside kick's one of them.
Well, Matt, Coach Willie Fritz and his staff are thinking exactly the same as you are because they've got their hands team out there. And I certainly agree with you. Okay, at the very least, try to pop fly, kick it, get it dropped down in there inside the 10-yard line and get field position that way. But please don't kick the ball just out the back of the end zone. Try something.
Exactly, kicking it out of the back of the end zone, which they did right here, just brings it out to the 25-yard line. I mean, if you're not going to onside kick it, try one of the pop-up kicks or a pooch kick like you just mentioned and try to recover the thing.
Right, or at least try to pin them back inside the 10, 15-yard line.
Make them go back and grab the ball at the 10-yard line or 5-yard line and start their return from there.
Matt, with that foolish targeting penalty and then the missed extra point, 2 negatives, but let's make sure we keep track of that really positive series for Andrew Allen, not just because he had completions, but he threw 3 or 4 bullseyes in there, and his second real good low red zone pass for a touchdown tonight.
So Eagles go back on offense, and I think their third-team quarterback, Vegas Harley, is now going to run the show. So the third-teamer, Vegas Harley, who played defensive back for the Eagles last season, I think has even got a special teams tackle today, is now running the offense.
We're in that stage, Matt. You know the old saying, you go to a Major League Baseball game and that guy walks up and down the aisles and he's saying, program. Can't tell the players without a program. That's where we are right now.
Yeah, we have reached that stage of the ball game. Vegas Harley, fourth-year junior out of Mount Dora, Florida High School, where he played his high school ball, and they run the ball right into the middle. You know, another thing I was going to point out when I was talking about the onside kick, that's another thing, one of the things I always look at when a team is so hopelessly behind as New Mexico State is on that play down here, rather than kick the extra point, why not practice a 2-point conversion play? I know you put something on film for other people to see, but
well, I would run something down there. I wouldn't necessarily run my best my win the game 2-point play.
Try some things.
But yeah, I think you're exactly right.
Experiment. I mean, you experiment. You don't get the practice is great, but you don't get the test tube in practice like you do in the game. I mean, this is live action. You got guys trying to make tackles, make stops, make plays. I mean, what better? I mean, this is really the best practice that you can get when you're way ahead or way behind in a game like this. You're getting live competition, speed of the game competition. This is the best way, to me, to work on things.
No, there's a lot of very sound points in those that you raise.
So 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 35-yard line, but I do agree with you. You don't want to use your best play. You don't want to put that on tape for anybody to see. You want to save that for something important, but maybe work on some other stuff. Chaz Thornton on the run up to the 40-yard line, close to the 41, and a 6-yard pickup for Thornton.
Now, as the Eagles have been fortunate to be able to do, Matt, in some previous games, they've got a number of these backup players in the game who they can grade their performance. So they'll grade these guys. They'll grade them just like they were starting players. They'll point out how they can get better. And in doing so, they're not just running out the clock. They're improving their team.
Yeah, 420, now 431 yards of rushing for the Eagles tonight. And that is above their per-game average of 377 as Harley takes off running. Look at Harley motor down to the 32-yard line.
Same issue for the Aggies. There's no force on the play. There's only 2 ways. Okay, you play corner force or safety force. A 2-deep cover 2 team can have corner force. That provides it from the outside in. A 2-deep quarters team has to have safety force. That comes from the inside out. That's poor leverage on the play. Okay, that's going to get you in trouble every play, every week, no matter who the opponent is.
They spotted at the 33, 1st and 10 for the Eagles. And we have our 8th different ball carrier of the night right there. And that is going to be number 20, Noah Hickey, the redshirt freshman out of Carver, Columbus High School.
Matt, another thing that makes this Eagles running attack so difficult to defend is the constant change of personnel. 1 tight end, 2 tight ends, no tight ends, 2 backs, 1 back. And so that makes it very difficult for the play caller on defense to know what part of his sheet to go to.
Not much doing for Thornton on that carry right there. Georgia Southern closing in on that big showdown against App State on Thursday night. In fact, they've got back-to-back Thursday night national television games on ESPNU. They'll be back here at Paulson Stadium on October 29th against Texas State. And then they close out their schedule at Troy, at Georgia, South Alabama, and Georgia State, their final 2 conference games last week of November, first Saturday of December. 3rd down and 7. Harley down to the 26, and the ball pops out, and looks like it might go back the other way. Will Clement, no flags, no whistles, and Clement with a fumble recovery scores the touchdown.
Fumble on the play, recovered by Will Clement.
Well, that's going to make the scoreboard look a lot better for the Aggies. A positive play for their defense, and one that Clement will remember all the way home on that plane and for the rest of his life.
Yeah, you don't forget scoops and scores, do you? When you're a defensive player, a linebacker like Will Clement, the redshirt freshman at Houston Kincaid High School.
Well, there are a lot of really good players on this Aggie roster from the state of Texas. A lot of football being played down there, and the Aggies have got to get their share of those players because it's a low population state, as we know, in New Mexico. All right, now we are going to get a look at a 2-point play, Matt.
And the 2-point conversion is broken up at the 1-yard line.
Cook Sagas knocks down the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, beautifully defended by Cliff Savage. Proper technique, but again, a properly thrown ball by Andrew Allen. Continue to be impressed by him.
Clement with the scoop and score makes it 56-26. Back in Statesboro, 56-26. Georgia Southern with the lead. Time now to salute our Capital One Cup impact performance of the night. And it's going to go to Eagles quarterback Kevin Ellison, Coach.
Well, Matt, the Eagles had as many candidates for that award as the Republicans have at a debate. But Kevin clearly earned his award tonight with some really exciting plays. Made every touch of the ball account for a lot of yardage. A worthy recipient tonight.
And in the process became the 6th member of Georgia Southern's all-time 2,000 club. That's 2,000 career yards rushing, which he already was in, and 2,000 career yards passing, which he entered with his 64 yards through the air tonight.
He's a run-pass threat and performer like the great Tracy Ham, who's the quarterback here at Georgia Southern.
Keaton on the return. And Keaton steps out of bounds at about the 35-yard line, and that's where the Eagles will go back on offense.
Well, so far tonight, the good news for the Eagles when they've been scored upon is they get to put this kickoff return team with Eaton in there, and every one of them is exciting. And his speed and the fact that he's a direct runner. He's not a dancer, Matt. He's getting straight up the field. There's a potential for a big gain on every one.
He's the number 2 kick returner per average in the Sun Belt Conference and named second-team kick return specialist this year. So 1st and 10. Vegas Harley goes back out there to run the offense. They got a lot of the reserves in there on that offensive line as well, as Thornton gets the carry. And we were talking about that. Let's give a little love to the Georgia Southern offensive line. This is not your typical offensive line, and it's an offensive line that had to replace 4 starters off of last year's conference championship team.
Oh, you're exactly right, Matt. This line of Culbreth, Freeman, Quan, Northrop, Boynton, and the 2 tight ends, Ward and Dean, they're all shorter than you see at other places, but they're built for their identity. They're built for the way they want to play. They're short, blocky, low pad level. They run well so they can get out in front of ball carriers when they pull them. They're really effective at the way that they play. They're not built to be drop-back pass protectors. They're built to be power run blockers, and they're very efficient at what they do.
They have only one offensive line starter that is over 6'3", and that's 6'4" right tackle Tommy Boynton. But you're right. You look at the left guard, Darian Foreman, who's the veteran leader, making his 22nd career start tonight, an 18th consecutive start, and was named Sun Belt first-team offensive lineman. He's 6'2", 315. Noah Hickey on the carry, picks up the first down at the 50-yard line.
Yes, and Matt, as we pointed out earlier on the long touchdown run by Ellison, he also ran almost stride for stride with Ellison down the field as a convoy to the end zone. So they come off the ball on the inside, running plays low and hard. They have good pad level. They're able to pull them, which adds a lot of diversity to the running game and helps them outnumber the defense at the point of attack. And they're really effective blockers on the run. They know how to target moving defenders, which is a challenging thing to do.
DeMarcus Godfrey now gets the carry. Godfrey becomes the 9th different ball carrier for the Eagles tonight. There might be some programs that don't have that many ball carriers. I mean, they shuttle them in and out, don't they? Ryan Brown now checks in. After Godfrey got a carry, now Ryan Brown checks in.
Besides the experience gained, Matt, the great thing about being able to use all these kids is it's great for their morale and their energy and their enthusiasm. And when they come back out tomorrow afternoon to get ready for Appalachian State and succeeding weeks when they're on the scout team and doing all that tough work, they've got an upbeat, positive, energetic attitude because they get to be rewarded in these kind of games for their efforts.
10th different ball carrier right there is Ryan Brown. Runs it, goes out, and Noah Hickey checks back in. Coach, they're closing in on 500 yards rushing tonight. They're at 483 right now.
Well, that's an objective that I'm sure that they'll have some fun with. They make this first down here on third down. They'll surely have enough carries to get another 15 yards if that's what it takes.
And Hickey, I don't think, got to the first down, barely got back to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be fourth down. But that's just that's just a physical beating by this offense. Georgia Southern against this New Mexico State defense, and not just a beating, because it's not just a beating that they inflict. It's a lot of chasing by the Aggies too, because they're chasing a lot of runners tonight.
There are a lot of option teams that are purely option, Matt, and they run for a lot of yards, but it's not really pound them, grinding football. They're position blocks, they're low blocks, they're cut blocks. This is an offensive line that is a very physical, knock you off the ball, beat you up offensive system.
Thornton on fourth down runs for the first down at the 26-yard line, and that puts them over 500 yards rushing tonight.
Matt, I think there's a pretty good chance that this is the first 500-yard rushing game that I've ever seen.
Wow.
Fortunately, I'm only seeing it. I'm not being the recipient.
I was getting ready to say, 38 years as a football coach, I'm glad that you had, well, at least, hopefully, it would have been your team inflicting it on somebody.
No, we never ran for 500.
Exactly, I was getting ready to say.
I've never seen it before.
So as a longtime defensive coach, linebacker, defensive coordinator, and head coach, I'm glad for you that you haven't seen it until tonight.
We had some nights that weren't too glorious, but we never got 500 yards run against us.
Down under 2 minutes to play here as Georgia Southern will quickly celebrate this victory and turn their attention to Thursday night's nationally televised showdown against App State on ESPNU from Boone, North Carolina. What an atmosphere that's going to be Thursday night in Boone, up in the mountains. Probably going to be a little chilly too. Harley gets tripped up.
Well, this is the time of year when we start getting those kind of matchups that really mean something. You know, today we had Alabama, Texas A&M, Michigan, Michigan State, those kind of games that really start to eliminate the wannabes and the pretenders and tend to really show up who the real true contenders are.
Yeah, and the significance of Thursday night's ball game. Now, it might just still be mid-October. That game could end up deciding the Sun Belt Conference Championship.
Well, when you get the two leaders matched up any time in the second half of the season, you're exactly right about that.
And that's going to do it as the Eagles take a knee. They will not run another snap. A 56-26 victory over New Mexico State as Georgia Southern improves to 5-1, 3-0 in the Sun Belt. And, Coach, they are now 11-0 since joining this conference last year.
Well, within a short period of time, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, Matt, all they're going to think about is how to get to 12-0. This will be a short celebration with Coach Fritz and his staff and players. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. You did a good job. We've got some things we got to do better Thursday night and not too much time to work on them. Enjoy it tonight. Be back in here tomorrow afternoon, and let's get ready to win another one.
2 100-yard rushers for the Eagles tonight. Matt Breida goes for 137 and a touchdown, 10.5 yards per carry. Kevin Ellison 6 for 104, including a 67-yard touchdown to lead an offense that rushes for 507 yards and wins their 11th consecutive Sun Belt victory with a 56-26 victory over New Mexico State. All the way around impressive. And the 26-point surrender really doesn't tell the story of what this Georgia Southern defense did tonight as well.
Georgia Southern defense play-to-play was very strong, but they had some misplays in the secondary that have got to be of concern against a much more potent Appalachian State offense come Thursday night. And of great concern has got to be the loss of Gallion for the first half, and who knows about Dobson.
Yep, absolutely. Things to be looking at for the Eagles in this short week ahead as they get ready to travel to Boone, North Carolina for their Thursday night showdown against App State. But here tonight, the happy story for Willie Fritz, a 56-26 victory over New Mexico State. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. And now for head coach Al Groh and the entire ESPN team, I'm Matt Stewart. Good night from Statesboro, Georgia, where the Eagles win by 30. This has been a presentation of ESPN.